Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brock Beard from LastCar.info, and we are ready for a very special race watch along today. I got my Jerry Nadeau gear on, and I got a pretty good feeling that on November 20th, 2000, something very special is about to happen here. So we're going to do the watch along here. We're going to get it started here in just a little bit. First and foremost, I hope you've all had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. I know we had a great one here over at LastCar headquarters. Getting back in the swing of things, putting up Christmas decorations today. We're taking a brief break from that here for the stream here today. We'll be working back at that afterwards there. Hope you all are doing well. Big thanks everyone on your support of Cope as well. We're doing well. We're hanging in there with the other books. It's been really competitive in the motorsports book section with all the interest in Formula One, both before and after the Las Vegas race. But we're doing okay. We're rocking and rolling there with the print releases and the ebook. The audiobook still isn't out. I don't know when it's going to be up. I was originally told that it was going to be up by yesterday. Still that has not happened. But those of you, I appreciate your patience there waiting for that. I can't wait for that to get out either. Even my neighbor's been asking about it too. So make sure that once that's available, we'll get that ready for everybody to check out there too. But big thanks to everyone supporting the book. We're starting to get reviews on Amazon, which is great. If you've read the book already, please leave a review on Amazon, however you felt about it. It all, read everything, and it all helps me improve on these too, because I am planning on doing many more books and videos in the future. And I do the same approach between both my videos and my books in terms of the research and trying to make it as engaging as possible too. So between these two stories, very different tales, but again, some similarities between the fact that they were both underdog drivers, different phases of their career, were in the sport for many decades. I hope that between both of them there, you get enjoyment out of that. So thank you so much, everyone, for checking that out. Again, the books are available on Amazon. That's right now the only place that you can get them at the moment. I'll let you know if that changes. We're in the works on getting some book signings together. If you are interested, if you'd like me to sign your book, you can either send it to my P.O. box, which is on the LastCar page. You can send that with return postage there as well. If you don't prefer the alternative, it's a bit a more affordable option. You could also send a letter, self-addressed stamped envelope there, and I could sign a sticker that you could place in the book, whichever you prefer on that. And it's my understanding that Derek Cope is also arranging that. Derek and his wife Alicia are doing that too. For more details on theirs, they're basically doing like kind of the same deal through their fan club there, through Derek's fan club. And they can let you know through their Facebook page additional information on that. So with that, let's jump into our broadcast here. We're going to start that in just a minute here. Before we do that, I kind of want to set the stage a little bit. So we talked about this race both in 500, not really 500 days in, I guess we did. Yeah, we did talk about it in 500 days, the first part of it. And also, of course, my video on Jerry Nadeau. Jerry was not the first driver I pulled for. In fact, Derek Cope was actually the first driver I got an autograph from. And I really enjoyed, following him, especially in the Purelator car. Ricky Rudd was another driver that stood out to me. But in terms of a driver that I followed from the very beginning of his Cup career, when he was still a rookie, definitely that 1998 weekend when he was driving the First Plus paint scheme at Sears Point, qualified outside pole next to Jeff Gordon. That was a big moment. That really stood out in my mind, and really between 1998 through his last start in 2003, when his career was cut short by that accident in Richmond, was very much following his career. And I've been very fortunate to speak to him since then. We did that interview a couple years ago. I still have some other ideas on Jerry's career that I'd like to do a bit more of a deep dive on, especially now that I've been doing more of these videos with the old photos from Brian Holman's collection. I have some thoughts about revisiting this too. And I think a good way to kind of kick that off is to go into what was easily the high point of his entire NASCAR Cup Series career. Going into November of 2000, the very end of Darrell Waltrip's victory tour, Jerry Nadeau had come close to scoring several victories in his first year driving for Hendrick Motorsports. Prior to this, he had struggled at both the Elliott Marino team and at Melling Racing. He took over the 25 car for Wally Dallenbach after Budweiser left to go sponsor Dale Jr. for his rookie season in late 99 and into the 2000 season. Junior, as it was one of 3 first-time winners coming into this race. Junior had won, not only won at Texas and Richmond, but he also won the All-Star race. The very next week, Matt Kenseth won the Coca-Cola 600, a race that Jerry had thoroughly dominated before engine issues. And then going into Watkins Glen, a road course track that Jerry was favored to be doing very well in, Steve Park pulled off the victory, beating Mark Martin to the finish. So you had those 3 first-time winners. And you had several different winners in the process, too. The first part of the 2000 season saw not just Dale Jarrett's dominance in the Daytona 500, but drivers like Jeff Burton and several others competing. Dale Earnhardt, his ascendancy during that year, really saw him really being able to challenge for the championship lead. Nobody could beat the dominance of Bobby Labonte, however. Throughout the 2000 season, he just seemed to have a leg up on everybody else. And much like Dale Jarrett in 1999, cruised to his first and only Cup Series championship on sheer consistency. But there were definitely some potholes along the way. The Atlanta track, however, is one of the tracks that Bobby himself pretty much held the keys to in his entire career. You may remember that quote from Mike Skinner saying that they used to call this Earnhardt Motor Speedway before Bobby Labonte came around with that damn Pontiac. And that damn Pontiac is definitely going to play a factor in the race you're about to see here tonight. But speaking back to Jerry Nadeau, he had several close calls during that season, especially in the second half. After a few crashes at the beginning of the year, kind of got his feet under him. The Brickyard 400, he led several laps. It was very competitive. At the Fall Dover race, he was good. And then, of course, both Charlotte races, both the 600 I mentioned earlier, and the Fall race in the 500, which is just a month before this race was run. He came very close to pulling off victories there. Unfortunately, a mixture of bad luck, either wrecks or just bouncing off a wall or bad pit stops. Just fell short, but it seemed like he was going to get really close to it. By this point here, Michael Holligan confirmed that they weren't going to come back as his sponsor in the year 2001. He had locked up the UAW Delphi sponsorship and was going to run a black car starting in 2001. Of course, the story about that car in the Daytona 500 is part of the later episode of 500 Days. But until that point, they had the Michael Holligan sponsorship for one more time. One of my personal favorite paint schemes, and it's represented on this shirt right here, the white and blue paint scheme with the highlights around the 25. Pretty much through the entire year, there was an interesting progression in how they made that paint scheme more and more colorful. It originally had the long Michael Holligan name on the side of it, a lesser-known home improvement channel compared to today with other products that have come around since then. But back then, they were on the ascendancy. They changed the logo to just Holligan on the side, then MH2, which I think was another shorter version of his website. But again, still that blue and white with the orange accents on it. Still one of my absolute favorites there. I know Jerry's very partial to the Coast Guard car that he ran, the 600, that very nearly pulled off the win there. But the main paint scheme, and especially the one that you're about to see here, were definitely my favorites. So that was really the story going into it. In qualifying, Jeff Gordon won the pole. Jerry Nadeau qualified on the outside pole, much as they had at Sears Point in 1998. And Jerry famously, in the race that really kind of caught my attention there, challenged Gordon for the lead into the first corner, ran off course, ultimately broke a track bar and had a very hard hit into a dirt embankment in the S's there. That resulted in a last place finish. So again, kind of the last place finish in Sears Point and Jerry Nadeau kind of all conglomerating into that one moment. And undoubtedly that had certainly an effect on me going forward here. But throughout his career, whether Jerry had coming close to these victories, it wasn't too far back when people were just accusing him of constantly being in accidents. A driver that you could probably make comparisons to other guys from today in the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series. Always seemed to be involved in incidents. Drove very aggressively, through his own admission in interviews that you've heard both on my channel as well as Dale Jr.'s podcast and so forth. But the Atlanta track going into this was not one of his favorites. In fact, he had I believe he had a qualifying wreck here when he was driving for Melling, and it just wasn't one of his favorites. So perhaps going into this last race of the year, he was not necessarily a favorite to pull off the win. I think even the spring race that year that was won by Dale Earnhardt in that photo finish over Bobby Labonte, he wasn't really as much of a factor in that one there. but we'll certainly see that. So we'll talk about that. And yes, as you mentioned there, Randy, of course, the last broadcast for the absolute dream team that was ESPN's NASCAR group. This is kind of a melancholy race in some ways there too, which is why I wasn't sure about doing this next one in our series of watch-alongs. However, again, I think it's a great testament to the quality of the ESPN broadcast with Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, and Benny Parsons, as well as pit reporters, Dr. Jerry Punch, Bill Weber, and so forth. A really strong group. And this season had just gone an extra day longer. They ran the fall race on Monday because of a rain delay. And for me personally, I was on vacation with my family in Hawaii for Thanksgiving that year. This was kind of a crazy time as well. If you want to go into kind of historical context, and we won't go too far down this road. This is about the same time that the recount controversy was going on in Florida, the famous Bush v. Gore decision that decided the 2000 presidential election. And I remember watching this race, we kind of switched back and forth. The parents were watching the TV and watching that, and then us watching this race here at the same time. Kind of came at kind of an interesting time. You'll hear some references to that, and you may have heard that as well in the 500 Days episode, talking about too close to call and so forth. So that was kind of the historical context that was going on at the same time. And certainly, also, on the other side of it here, this was the conclusion of what was a very controversial year in the sport. By this point, this is about a month after Tony Roper's accident at Texas. We already lost Kenny Irwin and Adam Petty. In this race, we'll see the number 01 team that was right on the cusp of being switched to singular for the sponsorship when Jason Leffler took over the ride. You will see that ride as well in this race. But yeah, and then, of course, the last race for Darrell Waltrip, closing out his victory tour, as I mentioned earlier. So, we're going to jump into it here. We got the NASCAR Classics feed pulled up. It's just under 3 hours in length. So go ahead and sit back and relax, and we will jump into it here in just a moment. So let's switch this over here. Again, big thanks, everyone, for checking out the Derek Cope book. We'll get this started. Let's make sure the sound sounds good. Everybody can hear it. I got the switchboard set up over here, but we'll go ahead and get started.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, our grand marshals of today's event, to give our starting command, Jessica and Sarah Caitlin Waldrop.
Daddy, start your engine!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the words you've waited to hear. And what a unique way to do it today on this Monday morning, Thanksgiving week. Now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our starting command from Stevie, Jessica, and Sarah Caitlin Waldrop.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Interesting throwback to 92 with Darrell Waltrip firing his own engine and then the rest of the field. I don't know if this is too loud. I'm going to adjust that too.
Separated by 50 points or less, and of course, each position gained is as much as $500,000. When we come back, comments from Ned and Benny, and a tribute to the retiring champion, Darrell Waltrip. This begins coverage of the Napa 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running. By UPS, we want to race the truck. People love the truck. And brand name tires, oils, and more at your neighborhood Walmart Tire and Lube Express. Well, the car is still sitting on pit road. It is very cool here today, so they want to get the engine temperatures up just a little bit before moving them away and taking some warm-up laps before we get this final race of the 2000 season started. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with two former Winston Cup champions,
Classics.
Ned Jarrett and Benny Parsons. It'll be our final time with you, hopefully for just a while, but we want to make it a very, very special race, and we hope that it is a safe and very competitive one. There have been a lot of factors to take into consideration here. Certainly one of them is a fact that, except for some practice on Friday before qualifying and a very short session on Saturday, Ned, these cars have not had any practice at all, and we have a truly green racetrack this morning.
Yeah, not much practice on race setup. In fact, about 2/3 of the field maybe got less than 45 minutes of practice on Saturday morning on race setup, but about 20 of the cars re-qualified, and they were practicing qualifying, and then a lot of cars that a lot of unknowns going into this race.
I can't wait for these cars to go down in turn one, Ned, because, as you said, 9 guys I know did not get one lap with race trim. When they go down turn one, they don't know if the car is going to spin out, it's going to push.
The celebratory lap there with Waltrip, kind of certainly reminiscent of the old Kevin Harvick's retirement just earlier this month.
On the racetrack, Darrell Waltrip leads the field of the other 42 cars, saluting the fans and allowing the fans to salute him as he ends his great career. His family riding there in the convertible ahead of him, and every single person gathered here today. And despite the fact that it's a Monday and it's cold, a great crowd has turned out for this final.
Are we okay on the sound? Just make sure you guys can hear it. My headphones are kind of circling.
To see this moment, Darrell Waltrip taking that final traditional ceremonial lap around the racetrack. He has been a great champion. He's been a great ambassador to the sport. We at ESPN salute Darrell Waltrip and the sport that he has competed in for so many years, and the passion that has driven him to be the competitor he is.
It's passion. I don't know how many people understand what passion means. I have a passion for racing. It's what excites me. It's what I dream about. I look at a race car and I get excited. When it cranks up and the engine's roaring, I get really excited. When I get in it and I go around the racetrack and it's running beautifully, it's running to perfection, and I'm driving like nobody's ever driven before, it's gratification. It's all the things to me that are important. Everything in my life, I mean, I love my family, my children, my wife, I love God, but that race car, it's like I put it on. It's like a coat. It's like my favorite sport coat. I put it on, and when I put it on, I look good.
Turned it up
That's
there
what
a
it is
little
to
bit.
me.
Hopefully that's not too loud. I'm seeing it kind of high on my...
And the crowd has saluted DW, thanking him for all the great memories that he has given us through the years. And now every team assembled
Let me know if that's a little better.
on pit road comes out and high-fives Darrell Waltrip.
Well, it's got to be a great feeling for him and for them to be able to do that.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
There must be 600 crewmen there, all shooting Darrell Waltrip.
Will be hard for Darrell now to put this out of his mind just in the next couple of minutes and take the green flag and start racing? I would think so.
It will be, yes, it will be, because I'm sure there are a bunch of tears going down his cheeks now. In about 60 seconds, he's got to forget about all that and try to go down in turn one and dodge all those wrecks. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oop, hang on. Hit pause by mistake here. Let me get that back up. But come on. Come on, computer.
Well, here's the Walmart Tire and Lube Express starting lineup
Yes,
for today's
just
race.
started.
Jeff Gordon, 33rd pole of his career, first at Atlanta. Outside, Jerry Napier, second front row start of 2000. Row number 2, Dale Jarrett, 6 finishes of first or second in the last 8 Atlanta races, and Dave Blaney, top 10 in the last 2 races.
Dale Jarrett has the Ford Credit Quality Care onboard camera as we touch starts from third spot.
Todd Bodine His best NASCAR Winston Cup finish was here in '94, and Mark Martin, who has 2 Atlanta wins.
And we'll be right along with Mark Martin, the Valvoline Cummins Ford.
In row number 4, Jeremy Mayfield at 3rd place last November here, and Dale Earnhardt, 9 victories, and he won the race here in March. In the 5th row, the champion of the 2000 campaign, Bobby Labonte and Wally Dallenbach, who will have new sponsorship announced today, Pizza Hut for next year.
And Bobby Labonte has the Circuit City onboard camera.
Rick Mass starts inside row number 6, and Ward Burton, who was the winner at Darlington.
And we'll be following along with Rick Mass to see how he progresses today.
Row number 7, Ken Schrader, flanked by Terry Labonte, his 45th consecutive race here at Atlanta. In the 8th row, it's Joe Nemechek, who finished 5th here in March, and Jimmy Spencer, his season-best 5th place was last week. Going to the 9th row, it's Tony Stewart, the driver with the most wins in the series this season, and Steve Hart, who was 4th in March.
So both these cars have onboard cameras. Tony Stewart, Atlanta home for its
0-1
Home Depot
team
onboard
there, right?
camera. And Steve
40 and
Hart
the
has
0-1
Napa
switch sponsors for this
Chevrolet
race.
on the outside
There,
of the
actually, yeah, that's Marlin's car there.
Sterling Marlin
There you go,
has
you can see
Bell
it.
South colors flying on the car today, and Rusty Wallace, a 2-time winner of this race, outside row 10.
And Rusty Wallace has the Miller Lite Ford down along with Rusty today.
And as we take a look here at the rest of the starting lineup, Ned's kind of
Kurt Busch, one of his first starts,
this on
driving
a
for
Monday, but
John Deere
we've
team
seen some
throughout.
great races on Monday. The track, as you said, is green.
Bobby
We have
Hamilton
nice
Jr.
bright
driving
sunshine. I think
0-1 this one.
it's anybody's
Field.
race here this afternoon.
Buckshot Jones, saw people mentioning him. Home race for him. Scott Wimmer in an ARCA injury that got washed out. Makes his Cup debut in this race.
He didn't get in because
Wimmer 33 fan, if you're in here, I hope you're enjoying it. Jeff Bodine, the one off in an extra Andy Petrie car.
Jeff Burton and Ricky Rudd are in row number 19.
And Jeff Burton has the Parts Plus onboard camera in 37th position.
The 20th row has 2.
This music is just so wonderful to get you fired up. SCP Paid Speed came back. It was supposed to be run its last time at Sears Point. It wrecked, so they ran it one more time into the Atlanta finale there before Cheerios took over in 2001. Or at least Cheerios had the second half of 2000. So they tacked on one more race for SCP in this one.
Well, it's just about to start, and in a few hours, it'll be the end of the 2000 NASCAR.
All right, folks, here we go. 325 laps in Atlanta.
Our coverage that we have
Great qualifying run for Dave Blaney, a little bit of a foreshadowing of the 2001 race. I'll be interested to see the races.
Let's see who wins the finale. Jeff Gordon leads them down, and the green flag is out. The Napa 500, the finale of the 2000 season, is underway.
Try the bonsai move in the first corner. Gordon gets to have the lead. Last run for the quality care paint scheme of Dale Jarrett.
Jeff Gordon's going to lead. Dale Jarrett, Jerry Nadeau up on the high side of the track. Now gets that position from Dale Jarrett.
Boy, Jerry Nadeau might have learned something there. He went into turn 1 on the high side of the racetrack at a very fast speed and stuff, and looked how much pull away from Jarrett and gained on Jeff Gordon.
See Jeremy Mayfield in the car trying to get on the inside of Todd Bodine. And Ned, they made it through a couple laps, and so far, so good. That is great.
It's Ward Burton and Dale Earnhardt battling side by side. On board with the champion.
Last start for Galaxy Motorsports. There it is, the 75.
Wally Dallenbach just up ahead. Ward Burton.
It's good to see Dallenbach get that sponsorship. Just sealed the deal here over the weekend, so they have the Pizza Hut on the 75 car for this race and next year.
Gosh, the speed cars are so
Last lap at 185.5 miles an hour for Gordon, with the fastest car on the racetrack, at least in the top 6 across the line. Is Jeremy Mayfield, who went a lap over 187 miles an hour, and car way up high.
Ooh, Robbie, hang on, buddy.
Just got out of the groove and slows
Jeff
down the
Bodine
backstretch.
in the middle of that. Another great paint scheme from that year. That orange is way brighter in person than it looks on screen here. Ran a similar
Got to
scheme.
feel that car out now. So, hey, did I have the power going down that caused me to do that, or get in there a little bit hard, or what was? He'll feel it out for a few laps.
Last race for Robbie Jones on team 2.
Up front, Jerry
here we go.
begins to come up and challenge Jeff Gordon. And is going to take the lead at the end of the backstretch.
Forgot he took the lead this early. When I watched this live, we had a time difference in Hawaii, so I missed the first part. I remember Tom Bodine coming down there.
10th race that Jerry
This is probably
Navy
one of the
has
first times
led
I've
in
seen
the year
the opening lap.
2000. He most recently led at Phoenix. And some good side-by-side battling going on here.
These guys have really been dicing around back in the pack. Mayfield going for 4th.
We saw Rusty Wallace and Tony Stewart and those guys. Watch this. Rusty Wallace goes in the corner on the inside of Terry Labonte. Here comes the 40 car. Sterling Marlin trying to make it 3 wide and makes contact with Rusty Wallace off turn 4. And folks, that was close.
Yes, it was. That would have been big.
Wallace now back in the 17th position, trying to pass Joe Nemechek.
Jeff Gordon got back to 4th place. Jared Mayfield has moved around him. Dale Jarrett and Jeremy
Get the
Mayfield.
big lead. Navey's already pulled up. My goodness.
So Jeff Gordon leads the first 4 laps of this race from his pole position, and now the race is in the hands of Jerry Mayfield.
Mayfield
In the
was
second position
wildly
comes
inconsistent in
Jeremy
99
Mayfield
to 2000,
around
but when he
Dale
was
Jarrett.
on, he was on.
And Jeff Gordon right now is really struggling. Last time by,
They might work
he
in
was
the
about 3
traffic. My
miles per hour
goodness.
slower than the lead car. So evidently getting these cars around the DuPont Chevrolet is not exactly what Jeff wants.
Race volume too loud. Okay, I can turn that down.
Move to the top of the racetrack.
He's falling back to 6th.
How's that? Is that a little better?
It's
It's hard to tell because my right channel is not working. Right channel's not working on this.
There in that turn, so maybe it's a little bit loose. The back end not sticking the way he would like for it to.
I can keep adjusting that. We'll just test it right here. How's that working?
Bodine now challenging Mark Martin as we watch from Mark Martin's onboard camera. John, what's the problem with Jeff Gordon?
Bob, I just talked to Robbie Loomis, his crew chief, as we see Wally Donovan get underneath Jeff Gordon going down into turn number 1.
Way better? Okay, good, good.
Reporting the car is very, very loose, but I've also been told here on pit road that there will be a caution thrown at lap 35. So you're just telling Jeff to hang on. Don't make
I'll try not to talk over too much. A little better? Okay. Turn it down a bit more.
It's going back like a rock.
Yes, he is. And as Ned said, we saw that car wiggle just a moment ago.
Turn that up a little. Try
Car
that.
That is a very loose condition that John was talking about.
On this racetrack, as fast as they run around here, you don't want to take any chances. Certainly not.
Just
any
love the bodies on
unnecessary
these cars back then. I don't know about you
Early
guys.
in the race to do that, so he'll ride it out till they make that first pit stop. There's some adjustments on the car.
He's fallen back to 12th position as Jerry Nadeau has the command of the race. By about 1
Here we go.
seconds over Jeremy
Love those old
Nadeau,
graphics. My
Dale
goodness.
Jarrett, Dave Blaney and Dale Earnhardt.
Hear how many drivers they have featured there. And full-time paint schemes. You don't have to worry about doing multiple deals there, even with these changes to the Holligan car that year.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, where the caution is out for the first time in our race.
Oh,
Jeffrey
here's your last
Bodine,
change for the
driving
race.
the number 35 car here this weekend, has taken the car behind the wall after he got up into the loose stuff in turn number 2 and into the wall.
This is the Bari Italian
Never seen
Foods car.
Already in progress. We
Third
don't know
Andy Petrie
exactly
car
what
in the field.
caused him to go up, but no other cars were involved.
Well, we have several cars making pit stops here. Some of the front runners faked coming into the pits, but they didn't. But a lot of those back towards the back of the pack are coming in to make adjustments on their car. 14 laps in the booth.
Down to
Jeff
Ray
Burton had
Dunlap.
Sitco come on board about October there. You got Robbie coming into his stall really slow.
Very loose, so they put a round in the right rear there to try to tighten it up a little bit. 4 tires and gas here, and Bill Elliott is in to Bill Weber.
Elliott already has right side tires. They did make a wedge adjustment. These guys gambling early on the early stops to make their cars handle better. 4 tires, Bill Elliott returns to the track.
And guys, I'm sure that they still will have that mandatory pit stop.
Of course, for Michael Waltrip, this is start number 462 for him.
Some of these drivers might say, hey, let's go in. We don't have a whole lot to lose. Let's make those adjustments on the cart, and then when that other comes out, everybody else comes in, then they'll be up front.
And then the reason some of these cars went ahead and pitted now is because that caution flag at lap 35 is going to be a NASCAR caution for safety because of the fact there was no happy hour. It's extremely cool down here, and Goodyear has told the teams you're going to be very, very loose early on until you get some temperature in these tires, and it may take a while as green and as cold as the racetrack is. But remember, that caution flag at lap 35 is not mandatory. You do not have to pit. You can pit if you would like. Bob?
Right now we are under caution with 14 of 325 laps.
Smokey Bear, yes, Kurt Busch was in this race. He's run the number 97. He made his debut at Dover in September, so it's about 2 months into his Cup career. And a very, very young Kurt Busch. No Kyle Busch yet, though.
The 1990s saw a lot of young driving talent enter the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. But it also saw a veteran set a mark that still stands today. When Harry Gant drove under the checkered flags at Michigan Speedway in August of 1992, he became the NASCAR Winston Cup Series' oldest winner at 52 years, 219 days. The likable Harry Gant had 474 career starts, 17 poles, 18 wins, 123 top fives, 208 top tens. Harry, you were certainly a major player back in those days when we were covering NASCAR Winston Cup competition, and we will remember you forever.
Only about 6 years after Harry Gant retired was this race.
We're set to go back to racing. The green comes out on lap number 18.
Single file restarts. Hollaback's still in the mix. That's kind of surprising. The 75 car was not running great that year.
Earnhardt's up there in the middle groove already, guys.
Earnhardt has moved to the very top of the racetrack, but his car is handling up there. He has moved himself up to
Remember,
the
this
fourth
Earnhardt
position.
car you're seeing in this race, I believe, if memory serves, was the car that Harvick ran at Rockingham in his Cup debut.
Steve Park and picks up the 11th spot.
And you see the sponsorship on the 40 car, Bell South, this weekend on Sterling.
Oh, wait, actually, it wasn't the one in Atlanta.
The one race will be back with Coors Light next year.
Yeah, it was the Atlanta winner he ran at Rockingham. The Atlanta winner was run at Rockingham. And there was the other Atlanta car that was run at the
Pretty high there. This car is not working as good as Earnhardt's on that high side.
later race.
There's one of the rookies that will be a major contender next year, Kurt Busch. And the 21 car of Elliott Sadler is in trouble.
A lot of smoke coming from his car. He heads down pit road.
Wood Brothers carry Motorcraft sponsorship on the car, as it will next year. Yes, there is a lot of smoke trailing from that car as
I think this is the first time they ran that paint scheme. Going into 2001, he'd run a very crazy looking Sitco paint scheme that year. Yellow numbers and stuff.
Out once again, this time after
this scheme came out a lot cleaner. I love some of these camera angles here. You get some great views of the car.
John, what's the problem there?
Elliott Sadler just told his crew over the radio, I think it's something in the rear end or the transmission is what the problem is. They've got the hood up.
Thank you, Lumix. I'm glad you like field
Might have been, I
photos.
guess, an oil line, but I would think that he would
Still working
not
on
think
that.
If, that it was
do
the
the next
rear end
interview
gear
for
or
the
the
next one.
transmission, so maybe a line came off of that, or maybe just something broke underneath the car in the drivetrain.
Well, there's some smoke coming out by the rear tire. I don't know if that's coming from the front to the back, but most of the smoke does seem to be in the rear of the car.
Rear gear failure, maybe.
So the crew will go to work, and we'll keep an eye on what they find and if they're successful in getting him back into competition.
Abe
20
Blaney
laps
still
now
holding the
complete.
third spot.
Mayfield, Blaney, Dale Earnhardt, and Mark Martin.
Yeah, Lumix. Yeah, the field fillers. That's going to take a little bit of time there. I'm still going to need to get the interview for it.
Still
Next
under
one I'm
caution
working on is
here
actually
at
getting the
Atlanta
500 Days
Speedway.
episode
Several
up,
have made
as
pit
well as the Mike
stops,
Harmon
including
video. I'm actually having
Ward
the Mike video is actually
Mike
done.
Skinner
Waiting for him to
and
review it, but I'm sure after
Wallace, who spent
Thanksgiving weekend
considerable
we'll have more
time
time.
on pit road, but as you can see, he
Yeah,
has
we're getting more
exited the
content
pits
coming up here for you
ahead
guys, for
of
sure.
the pace car, so he's still on the lead lap. Let's get more on Rusty's pit stop.
Well, Bob, they talked it over under the earlier caution. Rusty really wanted to come in because his car was squirrely getting into the turns, but but when the leaders didn't pit, Rusty opted to stay out. This time, they decided to come in no matter what. They really wanted to put a rubber in the right front. They were here for a long time. They could not get that rubber in the right front spring. So they went ahead, added a round of bite, made an air pressure adjustment on the right rear. He barely got the left side tires on, beat the pace car out. He's in the back of the field. They're going to try and make up ground under that mandatory caution coming later in the race. Darrell Waltrip's also been on pit road. Bob?
As a matter of fact, he now is exiting.
Terry Labonte also made pit stop. We had seen his car going backwards there a little bit earlier.
And Jerry, how about the pit stop by Ward Burton?
Well, Bob Ward came down pit road in the Caterpillar Pontiac. He had complained, like most of the leaders had complained, that the cars were very, very loose. The car was just slipping on the racetrack and not gripping the track yet because of the cold tires. And then the last time by before the caution came out, he said the car got very, very tight, which concerned everyone. That's why they went ahead and brought him down pit road, made 4 tire changes to make sure he didn't have a tire going down, and made no adjustments on the car. So he was down and away in a little under 18 seconds. 4 tires only, no changes for the 22 car as we head up pit road to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry, back in the garage here, the 35 car going on the rig, and Jeffrey Bodine, I would assume that after 14 laps, the tire pressures were up and ready to go racing, right?
Yeah, everything was fine. The car was really doing quite well, and all the tires were up. We didn't blow a tire. Just went into turn 1 and 2, and the car felt normal, and all of a sudden it just went straight up into the wall. I don't know if somebody lost some fluid or what. We're checking the car out. Nothing appears to be broken on our car.
So, their car too.
Apparently I ran over something, and it's a shame. I started the year out so bad with that horrific wreck in Daytona that I survived, thank God, and to end it this way isn't the way we wanted to. We wanted a good run for Andy Petrie and his Busch team. Chris Carrier did a great job with the car, and the car I think was going to be a real good car today, and it's just a shame that this happened, but it did. That's racing. We'll hopefully get a job for next year and be back.
We hope so too. First car out of the race now to Bill Weber.
Well, Rusty Wallace is back on pit road. They talked it over on the radio. Billy Wilburn, who changes his front tires, told him, I can get that rubber in the spring if you come back in. They're taking a spray lubricant out there. They're using that on the rubber and the spring to try and wedge it back in there. Wilburn working on the right front. They've got a jack on the left side. Rusty talking to Billy. He got the thumbs up. They got it in. Now they'll let the car down. The spotter telling the team where the pace car is on the racetrack. Rusty Wallace has the spring rubber he wanted in that right front. And head back out on pit road, restart at the back of the field.
Hoping to get that car handling much better than it has in the first 23 laps of this race.
Tony Stewart running a bit further back, seat 13th on that leaderboard there, coming by there.
More at Atlanta Motor
Smokey Bear.
Speedway.
13th looks like for Tony so far.
Terry Labonte became the Iron Man of NASCAR Winston Cup racing on ESPN April 21st, 1996, then Martinsville after 514 consecutive race starts. The streak began back in 1979 and continued until August 5th, 2000, when injury suffered at Daytona forced Terry to sit out the Brickyard 400. Labonte started 655 races, shattering Richard Petty's mark. NASCAR's Iron Man met Iron Man Cal Ripken, who broke the baseball streak on ESPN with over 2,100 consecutive games on September 6, 1995.
Ricky Rudd would ultimately beat Labonte's streak, I believe, in 2002.
Has 672, 26 poles, 21 wins, and of course 2 championships for Texan Terry Labonte. And a winning margin, $23 million.
And I believe Earnhardt was at 647 in this race and was in position to beat Labonte early in 2001.
Got $23 million more than I won.
$20 million more than I won.
Smokey, yes, I did introduce Regan Smith, 2012 All-Star race. They did that fan video contest, and I won that entry for Regan Smith. And I actually have a helmet signed by Regan down my storage room.
Jeremy Mayfield wants that lead.
If I bring it out every once in a while at the show here, I'll have to bring that out again.
Jump up on the outside of the racetrack.
Yep, that was me.
Good jump back there and a little further back.
11 years ago.
Still running the high line.
Mayfield with a great run. Ooh, Jerry just holding on to him.
Maybe you don't want to give up that lead. Said you're going to have to fight for it.
Got a little tail happy.
that lap, so he can back off now. He doesn't have to worry about getting the lead. If he was trying to get 5 bonus points, no. He just wants to be the lead dog.
He's had a fast race car. He's shown that because he came
What
through the
stage is
pack
this?
pretty good.
No stages, buddy. He just got 325 laps of racing, 28 laps in. He got a leaderboard this time, unlike the Daytona race. The Coke race, of course.
On board with Dale Jarrett, who runs in the 4th position.
And Earnhardt now beginning to drop back a little bit. Cars passing on the inside. Maybe that outside crew's not working quite as well right now as it did a little bit earlier.
That's Todd Bodine in the 46 car. And here comes
Sadler actually out of the race. Trying to fix it.
Dale Earnhardt.
You see right now that Earnhardt would move into the 2nd spot if the race were to end, because Jeff Burton started in the back and made a pit stop on that first caution flag.
Saw the comment here earlier. Yep, the last race for the rainbow paint scheme, except for that one also.
A lot of money still
a couple of individual races. One at Bristol just a couple of years ago. He also raced in 04.
About $500,000.
This last time he ran was a full-time paint scheme.
And of course, we'll be there when they pass out the checks and give Bobby the NASCAR Winston Cup officially at the Waldorf Astoria.
Here comes
Yes, so Bobby Labonte had already clinched the Cup Series championship at Homestead the previous week.
Well, don't you know
This is flat Homestead that was back then, back when Tony Stewart dominated that
right now. He's won the championship. He can't lose it. All he can do is just drive as hard as he can, and they've already said that they're trying some new things on that car and doing a little experimenting. He's got nothing to lose today.
Yeah, primarily in the engine.
Yeah.
They had not been running the strongest engine that they had. Anytime you put more horsepower into them, there's always the risk of it not finishing a race. And
Well, now that's a little eye-opening. Bobby Labonte was trying different things on his engine. His team was. You recall in 500 days, first couple of races, Bobby had a lot of engine problems.
Seems like there are a lot of guys
they had to diagnose those
with a
problems.
handle early on here.
Blew up at Vegas
Bobby,
and
what a
Atlanta.
number of the teams did was come down pit road on lap number 14 and put 4 fresh tires on the car. They went out, ran just a few more laps, and when Elliott Sadler blew an engine, a lot of those guys came back down pit road and put on fresh tires again. Now what that does is give them a set of
Maybe with
scuff
another
tires
fast car.
that they might want to use late in the race. The reason that could be a big advantage, we didn't have happy hours, so the guys didn't have a chance to scuff in tires. So a few of them that pitted early here will have scuffed tires, and that could be a good set to use right at the very end of the race today.
Watching 3rd and 4th here, Dale Jarrett and Dave Blaney, who's had some good runs recently and has certainly looked good here in the first 33 laps.
Had 2 top 10 finishes the last couple of races. I think that's his first top 10 of his career and 2 in a row.
That was Jeff Gordon, Bob. He's beginning to move back. He brought back the
I believe Pontiacs were really good at the flat
now,
Homestead.
And it's amazing.
But there's
After
great
this last
qualifying
restart,
shots.
some
Like
cars
Arthur
that were working
Pontiac's
good
were
before are not working as good, and some that were not working good are working better.
Yeah.
So, sort of strange. But we knew it'd be that kind
Darrell
of
Waltrip, last car on the lead lap.
There's Earnhardt and Bodine once again racing side by side for the 6th position.
Now Earnhardt is trying, again, he's looking all over the racetrack, trying to find the fastest way around the racetrack for his car. We saw him on the top of the racetrack. Now he's on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to figure out where his car wants to be. Next time by will be that magic 35th lap.
I wonder if, since we've had so many laps under caution, Ben, if they might extend that maybe a little bit.
Certainly no caution flag that time.
Harriet's coming out. Caution's coming out this time.
Shot Jones still rolling. Interesting though, they showed Robbie's car. The numbers were lean the other direction.
Mayfield will come down
If that was intentional for what was looking to be the last start for that team.
Jarrett is 3rd. Then Dave Blaney and Bobby Labonte. Those are your top 5 as we give another caution here, the 3rd of the afternoon, or morning, I should say, on lap number 37.
Good crowd for a
And
Monday.
salute to all these hardy race fans, because it is not what I would call a pleasant day here. It is very cold, although it is sunny. But this is Monday, folks, and
Yeah, there you go.
How come these people aren't working?
Well, Mike, I want to tell Mike Wells, our director, no, don't shoot these people too close because their boss might see them on camera. So,
You know they called in sick.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
A lot of them.
That is a great crowd. Yes, it is. For a cold Monday.
Now we'll see front runners make pit stops.
Yep.
Yep, you're right,
and some
Nick.
of those
There,
cars
you
that
last
made pit stops earlier.
full broadcast for Ned
feel
Jarrett.
like their
Of course, he
cars are
did the
okay right
same
now.
deal
They
as
will
Ken
stay
Squire there, a
on the
couple
racetrack.
guest
How many?
appearances
We'll
later
just have to
on.
wait and see.
Eddie Parsons will go on to NBC, TNT.
All cars are on the lead lap that are out there. We have 2 cars out of the race. Jeffrey Bodine and Elliott Sadler.
Jenkins' new
Everybody
Smitty
else
car.
is on the lead lap, so they can come in.
Now Ward Burton will take the lead because he pitted early. Let's go to John Kerman.
Jerry Nadeau, who led the early
Beautiful
stage
car.
of this race, is in for a 4-tire change. He told his crew chief Tony Furr the car was tight and then it get loose, and they go 1 round up on the track bar. Also make an air pressure adjustment to Bill Weber.
Sterling Marlin on pit road, 4 tires, fuel, no changes, likes the way the car is running, thinks it will work well in the high groove. Jerry.
Jeremy Mayfield, car a little bit free, 4 tires, track bar adjustment. Mayfield down and away. Great pit stop on a mobile
Mayfield
1 feet.
rocking
He's
shit.
down and away.
My
Great
goodness.
Dunlap.
Ricky
Hard
Rush came
blowing
in, they
around
took 1
Blaney.
round out of the right rear 4 tires, but the problem was he was in the pit stall at an angle and he had to back up to get out. So all the work they did here on pit road, all for naught, as he had to slow down to exit the pits.
Oh, it looks like Kurt's got a little damage. Left foot.
And they're also working on
Caddy
Rusty
Wilkes.
Wallace's car as he remains in his pit
Joe
stall.
S., yeah, I
Just
believe in
1
2007
car.
there was
That
a Michigan
Ward
race that was like on a
decided not
Tuesday.
to come in. Looks like they
Oh, we got the edge
got
wrench.
the wrench there on the back of the Robbie
Robbie
Gordon
had
car.
a
It's one
rough
of the
run.
adjustment wrenches. You'll have to come back in and get that taken out.
Again, Ned mentioned it earlier, but we re-emphasize that Robbie Gordon will be in the number 4 car cockpit come 2001. 37 laps completed and the Napa 500, the finale of the 2000 NASCAR Winston Cup season.
Douglas, yep, you're right. Last race that he ran, Mark Martin ran the Valvoline paint scheme.
Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, John Curtin, Bill Weber,
Absolutely
and
underrated,
Jerry Punch
Nick.
back with you in
I
Atlanta
agree.
Motor Speedway. Well, we've had some pit stops.
Brings the
and
right level
on
of
pit
excitement to the
road,
broadcast.
Here's an incident we picked up.
Dale Jarrett pitting in front of Dave Blaney. When DJ starts to go, he kills the engine, and Blaney runs in the back of the car.
And as a result, as you can see on our cockpit summary, Dale Jarrett fell from 3rd all the way back to 11th. Now, Mayfield won the battle out, but because Ward Burton didn't pit, Mayfield will line up 2nd.
81 Casper, yeah,
Blaney
Dayglow
from
Orange. That's the best
tonight.
guy to best guy to
As a
paint
result of
scheme.
him having to stop
Yep.
when DJ's engine died on the as he started to exit the pits.
Down to Jerry Punch.
And guys, actually the engine didn't die on DJ. He said the clutch pedal went all the way to the floor and wouldn't engage. So he tried to lead, the thing wouldn't engage. He pumped it a couple times and he done it to engage. That's why he hesitated and pulled away.
And our cockpit summary also showed you that Bobby Labonte moved up 2
got a lap
positions, and
car
now
coming off.
he is 3rd in line.
2 there.
Comes out once again, and as Dale Earnhardt moves up the racetrack.
And Buckshot Jones, as the cars took the green flag, was exiting pit road.
There you
So
go.
he's about to go a lap down, or maybe he can stay in front of these cars. We'll have to check that out.
You know, Buckshot's right in front of him. That's, yeah.
He's going to have to run awfully fast to stay in front of them.
Ward Burton last led at Talladega.
Purple car for Reese's is a sponsor of Mark Martin. I haven't heard of that, Joe S., but that's interesting.
And now the 88 trying to make up some of that ground that he lost on the pit stop.
Up there goes
Moves up to
Buckshot
the
getting
10th
scooped out of the way.
Their Buckshot does go.
That's a very good point there you have there, Tom. Yeah, just a regular guy, some pro announcer. Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's because he had such a great group around him that were experts. You know, Ned and Benny had seen it all. So
That's pretty
the
strong.
pitbull reporters were excellent too.
How strong Mayfield was
Just had to kind of have the leadership of it.
Bobby sitting there running.
He always had such a clear, sensible way of describing the action. We talked a little about Ken Squire, of course, and rightfully so, in our Daytona show. But this is a good way to feature Bob as well.
not having put on new tires this last time.
You make me further down the line. They do an Eli Gold.
Stopped on lap 21. Racing behind Earnhardt was Mike Skinner. He stopped on lap 21 and this time stopped as well, but he probably changed 2 tires to try to get some track position because Skinner started in 39th. Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Benny, that's exactly what happened. They went for right sides on this last stop. Mike Skinner was running 31st when they came in for the pit stop. Right now, running 7th. Bill Weber.
Well, Rusty Wallace is at the back of the field again, but that's actually a fortunate break. Remember, they had trouble getting that spring rubber in that right front spring, and they finally got it wedged in there. When they came in,
somebody's checking up in front. Oh, boy. Buckshot. That's probably the worst spot there.
That spring had actually moved out of the spring bucket. That's what holds the spring in place. If that spring had fallen out, Rusty would have been on the wall in a heartbeat. He saw it, Wilburn fixed it, then Rusty came back down pit road for a very common complaint today. A lot of glare on the windshield. Came in so they could clean the windshield. John?
Jeff Gordon's crew made a track bar adjustment to try and fix the handling on that car to get very loose as the run went on.
Smokey Berry, yes, Ryan Newman actually ran the Phoenix race in the fall of 2000. That was his Cup debut, scene of what was originally going to be his last start a couple of years ago. Of course, we saw him most recently in Phoenix just this year. But yeah, Newman made his Cup debut in that race, which was about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks before this race was run, early November.
Goes to the lead once again. He's already led 11 laps.
And the number 02 Alltel car. Same one you'll see first couple episodes of 500 Days. He ran the Spring Vegas race was the next start he had that year.
Trying to get back to the front, battling on the outside of Bobby Labonte.
And the 88 car is really on the move too. He has put himself up into the top 10 once again and coming on.
Midfield again looking fantastic. I mean, he had like the Southern 500 won that year and he got taken out in the wreck. That might be another one.
1999 NASCAR Winston Cup champion.
There's like a whole string of like Darlington races that were cut short by rain, but they were still pretty good. They had some crazy stuff.
On the outside of Labonte trying to take a spot away, but here comes Labonte on the inside of Ward Burton, and Jerry Nadeau wants to go on the inside of Labonte. Could not quite make that move happen.
Some great racing here for second place.
Fantastic racing. My goodness. And you remember the episode on the spring race in 2001. This was, that track put on good shows back then.
So Jerry Nadeau does get by Ward Burton, moving to that 3rd spot.
The other player in this mix here is Sterling Marlin in the 40 car, then a little bit of racetrack before we get back to Mark Martin, who is being overwhelmed by Dale Jarrett.
Whoa, Steve.
Oh, wow. Mark had to back off the gas there. It looked like his car got a little loose off the corner, and Steve Park made a good move to not hit him, move down on the inside of him. There, Park's car got a little squirrely. That position wants to make Steve work for it.
I appreciate you guys tuning in. Wow, we got 54 people in here. Right on. Thank you.
Top 5 where he was running before that pit stop.
There's a UPS snapshot. Dale Jarrett, who started in the 3rd position, is currently 7th. He's been as high as
you're just tuning in. This is the 2000 Napa 500. November 20th, 2000.
Will have sponsorship from UPS.
Last race in 2000 season.
The car yesterday. It's mostly white, but there is some brown on it. A very, very fine looking race car.
Those different grooves. My goodness.
I saw a guy from UPS when they made the announcement. I said, sure, it's not going to be that brown. We see those brown mules running all around the towns with. And he said, no, I think you'll like it. And I did like it. You're right. It was a very good race car.
Did you hear that? Very interesting. That was kind of back to the discussions where they thought that the UPS paint scheme Jarrett would run was going to be red like their packaging, not brown like the trucks. But as you heard earlier in this, they already were doing the People Love the Truck ad that they pushed so hard in 2001. So that was already going to be kind of the direction of the marketing, which turned out to be brilliant. I mean, it was one of the most successful ad campaigns of that year, certainly in terms of NASCAR.
Elliott Sadler and
And it was asked earlier today which driver you think of with the 88. And undoubtedly, I never really think of Junior. I think of, Mayfield. I think of Jarrett for sure. Well, that explains that.
Stay on the bottom.
Cooked it.
Big explosion, Doc.
Well, Jeremy keyed the mic and said one word, blue, and didn't let go of the microphone. That summed it up. Apparently the engine is gone.
Wow.
That was somewhat of an understatement.
He had a piece. He had an absolute piece.
Boy, he had a great race car.
See, again, that's Mayfield, especially in 2000.
Yes,
99, he wasn't near winning. He just had a lot of problems. But 2000, he won. He won Fontana. He was up there and around there, but he should have won many more races that year. One of his best paint schemes, too.
Some things are going to be susceptible to break. And that is
blew that thing sky high.
Finished second last week
at
Homestead, Doc, but he won't be there today.
He will not be, and you could hear the disappointment just a moment ago when he told the crew, he said, guys, I'm sorry. I had no warning. I knew it did nothing. I just let go big time. And he said, we had them covered. I wasn't even pushing the car. We had the car to beat. We had them covered, guys, and I'm sorry.
Right in front of Jerry.
And Peter Suspended said, well, buddy, we'll meet you in the garage here and see what we can do. And Jeremy said, the way this thing let go, there's nothing we can do.
Wow.
All right, now we're going to see some pit stops again with the caution out. They do leading.
All right, so Nady gets the lead back again.
Dale Jarrett and Dale Earnhardt and others down pit road. Down to John Kernan.
And the leader, Jerry Nadeau, is in. Remember, last time they made that track bar adjustment, it seems to have fixed the car because he's running really well. So they changed right side tires, no chassis adjustments. Coming around, working on the left side. Already full of fuel. They'd only run 15 laps on this set of tires, but the lug nuts tight, and he is down the way to Jerry Punch.
Ward Burton, remember, he pitted on lap 23 the first time they came in, made a round and a half track bar adjustment right there, and he's down and away after 4 tires.
Mark Martin only took 2 tires. Made a great pit stop. Maybe Steve Park as well.
Just before this caution, we told you that Buckshot Jones took his car behind the wall. Well, earlier on the racetrack, a close call up in turn number 2, and I saw this live, and it was scary. Look at Michael Walker
Mikey.
Clear up to the wall to avoid him.
Well, he's trying to pass Buckshot. Buckshot trying
I
to
saw
get out
Buckshot
of the way.
hold up the 43. I didn't know he got it in there. Almost.
Down to Ray Dunlap.
Oh, there
Well,
he
Bob,
is.
the problem on the double zero is the right rear shock. They're not sure whether it's broken, but they're going to replace it. So Buckshot behind the wall, and they're going to replace both rear shocks.
54 laps complete.
Look at that, the Georgia Pacific logo.
Napa 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway on a beautiful Monday morning. We'll take a break.
Obviously, this is when Georgia Pacific had come on to sign with him and the Pennies over the 2001. This is the team that Tom O'Dine drove for in the
Yesterday, when it was raining, there was a very special ceremony held in the media center as 6 former NASCAR Winston Cup champions saluted Darrell Waltrip and, of course, also his little brother, Mikey. It was such a special 20 or so minutes, Dr. Jerry Punch kind of emceed things down there, that we're going to bring it to you as a special presentation once again. Darrell Waltrip, a champion salute, can be seen at Sunday at 9:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. It is indeed a very special presentation that we hope you'll be with us to see once again. Sunday at 9:30 on ESPN2. Darrell Waltrip, meanwhile, is running in the 35th position at the moment.
There's still 39 cars on the lead lap. All of the cars that are on the racetrack are on the lead lap.
Well, we've got a pretty interesting situation right now. Remember we told you, Ned told you, as we did the starting lineup, about Scott Wimmer, who came here to run the ARCA race to get some experience so that he could run the NASCAR Busch Series next year for Bill Davis Racing. He has no experience on big racetracks. Well, guess what? ARCA qualifying was rained out, so he could not start the race. He moved his car over to the NASCAR Winston Cup garage. He made the race, and guess who's leading the race right now?
How about that?
Scott Wimmer came here to run the ARCA race, and 57 laps into it is leading the Napa 500.
Well, that's
cool paint scheme too.
Something really good to go on his resume. I remember Darrell Waltrip, I think, led the first race that he was ever in NASCAR Winston Cup race.
Scott Wimmer, the next Darrell Waltrip.
Scott Wimmer will
Here we
always
are.
remember this day, his Winston Cup debut. In 1992 at this race, Jeff Gordon made his NASCAR Winston Cup debut. Jeff Gordon won the Bud Pole for this race, and so he joins, and
all those different
actually this
settings.
was his third Bud Pole of the year. These are the drivers who will participate in the Bud Shootout at Daytona International Speedway in February. Rusty Wallace with 9 poles during the year. Quite a feat
2000 was
by
the first year of the
Rusty.
single pump jack. I'm not sure, Tom. That's a very good question.
Let's go down to Ray Dunlap with Jeremy Mayfield.
Well, Jeremy, we listened to the radio traffic. No indication she was going to go, right?
Not at all. It was a perfect race car. I mean, that's the best car I've had ever been here, and or I've had anyway. You know, we tested a couple days on race stuff, and it paid off. You know, just really wanted to win today. You know, my grandmother passed away yesterday, and just want to say my thoughts and prayers out to my mom and the rest of her family and DW. You know, it's going to be a special day for us, but at least we're leading when we went out and did all we can do, and just proud of this race team.
10-4, Jeremy Mayfield.
Mayfield out of the race. Scott Wimmer leading right now under caution over Robbie Gordon. Steve Park, Mark Martin,
And 9 poles for Rusty. Rusty had things figured out. It wasn't just Ryan Newman that was tearing up qualifying for Penske.
We'll be back to racing before too much longer here in the Napa 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Up front is Scott Wimmer and Robbie Gordon. They're running first and second. They, however, did not pit under this caution.
But the cars running third, fourth, and fifth changed 2 tires. You go back to 6th position, Dale Earnhardt, I'm told he did change 4, so we'll see what kind of advantage he has with those 4 fresh tires.
Go, go, go.
Hang in there, Scott.
Scott Wimmer's been leading under caution. Now he gets his first opportunity to lead under green flag conditions.
What a thrill that must be to have the best in all the best in stock racing behind you.
I'm telling you.
It's getting tight around Robbie. Todd to the outside. Both about to split
Here he
Earnhardt.
comes. He looks like he's going to make it, going to lead the lap on the green.
Yeah, go Scott.
Competitive lap. How about that?
This is what you love. I love one-off intros. Those are always so exciting. This was such an unusual one in particular to have an ARCA car in the race.
Now this is
Similar to like the early 90s, they had short fields.
Closely. They want to view these guys in this kind of a situation.
Ooh, he's actually got to hold up Steve here.
And this determines whether or not he'll be able to run the Busch Series race in Daytona.
Well, I think he cleared
Scott
the...
Wimmer is from Wisconsin. As a matter of fact, he is the nephew of Larry Degens, who is one of the top short track drivers in Wisconsin for many, many years.
There you go.
But Steve Park tries to get to the inside of him.
And Earnhardt goes by Mark Martin on the outside.
Scott Wimmer rocking and rolling.
Third position.
Remember, he did well in the spring Daytona Busch race as well. He covered in 500 days. This is where the promise was really shown.
And here comes the 46 of Todd Bodine going by the 25 of Nadeau.
Todd has a good run going here in the first 63 laps of this race.
Oh, here we go. Park gets on the inside of Wimmer. It's close down the
Wimmer's
back
still racing him.
At Terrier's horsepower.
Got Earnhardt behind him. Wow.
Now imagine what Scott Wimmer, what's going through his mind.
Oh, my goodness.
Wimmer, of course, driving a Bill Davis car. Bill Davis has a real eye for talent. Remember Jeff Gordon drove for him in the Busch Series?
Yep.
And then Bobby Labonte. Now this young man. Oh, well, Dave Blaney.
They're like a hastily renumbered car. The 3s kind of look
Well, guys,
weird
you
because I
talk
think it
about
was supposed
Scott
to be
Wimmer
the 20
trying
in
to
the
get in the
ARCA
ARCA
race.
race. In practice, he was the fastest car. But keep in mind, in the ARCA Series, you're allowed to use roller cams. In the Winston Cup Series, you have to have a flat tappet cam. So they had to change the engine in this car. I talked to Chuck Spicer, the team manager. He said the one they've got in the 23 car is just as strong as what they're running. And that's pretty evident by the way he's running on the track.
And
With
now
Blaney and
Martin takes
Ford
the
Burton
lead
running so
from
well, you can see
Steve
why
Park.
Scott's up
And so
there.
we have our 7th leader of the afternoon.
Steve Park, I believe, got last in this race in the spring of 2001.
Dale Jarrett. So right now it looks like the 25.
Oh, and there goes Big E.
Goes for second spot.
Passing a car that he owns. Of course, he owns that one car.
Okay, all right.
Looked like the one car had to get off the throttle a little bit up in 3 and 4, which allowed Nadu to go by, allowed Jarrett to go by. And as quick as DJ gets by, he goes to the top of the racetrack.
And that's a little unusual for him, but it has been working for him pretty well so far to this point. So right now, Michael Maloney's got the inside working for him.
Mark's car looks really loose there a little bit. Oh, Mikey. Yikes.
Through the grass. Look out in the pits.
No splitter damage there.
Tears up a lot of grass and throws it up on pit road, but...
And he's stuck.
Oh, that's not good.
It's wet. You can imagine that because we had a huge amount of rain here in the last 3 days.
Great paint scheme, though. Everybody else a big fan of that Nation's red car? It looked good as a Ford in 01. It looked great as a Chevy, too.
And the caution is out.
Michael Waltrip, of course.
Yeah, Smokey, yeah. He's not, Harvick's not in this race yet.
Racing next year.
He was going to run the AOL car in the spring race before what happened in February.
Let's see. Always see him up against the wall up in 3 and 4.
He likes to run the high groove. He got a little too high there.
Almost got Scott Pruitt.
There's a reason for him getting that high.
You see the brakes are locked up, but I'm sure right here he probably releases the brakes, trying to drive it back, and the wheels were turned wrong, and he goes, spins back around again. There, he almost made it, but he stood on the gas and drove himself back in the mud. Mikey!
He's not the only one that got up into the gray stuff. Just before that, watch the 46 car of Todd Bodine way up on the racetrack.
And he's up there, and he goes high. He says, thank goodness I didn't hit that wall, but he lost about 10 positions as he got the car back under control as Benson goes by in the 10 car.
Johnny Benson running a yellow paint scheme for the Aaron's 312. That was the Busch race that was held the following spring.
2 laps down.
Working on our 5th caution flag of the afternoon.
This is right before Valvoline took over as sponsor, leaving
off of turn
Martin's
number
team.
4.
It's a very pensive picture of Jerry for the driver pictures.
ESPN's live coverage of the Napa 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway is being brought to you by Haviland Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. By Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. And by Ford Outfitters, no boundaries. 73 laps completed under caution.
Splitter damage, there's no splitter. Exactly.
Bob, visibility becoming a problem. Look
Team
how bad the
Valence over
windshields
here.
are here in the cars. This is the tearaway that they have on the windshields that Cruz just pulled off a moment ago. They normally have 3 of them on a car for the entire race, and they pull them off starting at the halfway point. Many teams have already pulled 2 off. We're not even a fourth of the way through this one, so visibility a big concern. Only 1 tearaway left for most of the front-running teams. Bob?
And we're set to go back to racing now as the pace car heads toward pit road. Here we go. The car that brought out this caution, Michael Waltrip, is on the inside of Mark Martin as they take the green flag. Michael is 2
HAMRC
laps
fan
down.
about Ultra Motorsports.
First time when we start
I think they probably would have had about the same struggle.
among the leaders.
It was bad enough that if they stayed as Chevy, they probably would have been their best case scenario.
Everybody goes to the high side to
Maybe
pass
Mike
in,
Wallace
including
would have
Dale
done
Earnhardt,
better. But of
Jerry
course, Mike
Nadeau.
was
Here
locked in
comes
with the
Dale
Truck
Jarrett.
Series. There's probably some maneuvering with that. I think it was having to build a whole
Michael
new
just
fleet
cannot
of cars.
keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack. See how high he comes off the corner? Bobby Labonte had already made the decision to pass on the outside.
Almost wish he hadn't.
Exactly. I'm sure he had a couple of anxious moments when he said,
But they did struggle a lot in 2000.
Bobby's car is working well on the inside of the track.
They had a couple good ones. I mean, Mike Wallace is good at the Daytona 500.
Up front there, Mark
He had a very
only
fast
changed
car
2
despite
tires
not showing
during
it in
their last
practice.
pit stop. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out for him. Didn't have a lot of laps on the tires before he changed.
The 99 car of Jeff Burton has worked himself into the top 10. He started back in 37th position, but you can see how bad the visibility is some places around this track.
Oh, the glare is tremendous.
And Earnhardt about to lose the second position to Nadeau.
Come back up.
Well, might have been an early call on McPhee's part there. As a matter of fact, Nadeau may lose the third position to Jarrett.
Trying to tear it up the orange valence decal
There's
there.
so much on the outside of it. You just can't drive that car down in the corner like you normally can. When you drive it down and you lean against the wall of air, that keeps the car under control.
That's right, 81 Casper Flip. That was 2001 was when Robbie almost won in the number 7.
It's very difficult. Everything's fine now, but he goes in the corner.
So yeah, again, 17 had some good runs at the Ford. And again, Mike Wallace is good at the plate races now.
And that's where they pick up the glare.
It's just everywhere else that they didn't seem to run very good, which is a problem for a full-time athlete.
When that windshield gets pitted, then it even gets worse. But that might go away in a little while as the sun continues to go up.
Just a very
more and
competitive
gets overhead. Maybe it won't bother him quite as much.
Joe Nemechek very quietly hanging on to the top 10. Flagship Andy Petrie, number 33.
Jarrett and Earnhardt both running almost the same tracks to the corner, the same line.
Kenny Wallace's last run in the 55 before Bobby Hamilton
here are
took it
Tony
over.
Stewart, Rusty Wallace, Matt Kenseth, and Wally Dallenbach running right together
So a
on
lot
the
of the team
racetrack.
changes
And
you
this
saw in
is
the 500 days
in about
sparked through this weekend.
23rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th positions.
And there's Scott Wimmer in that group as well.
And we go back up toward the front because Dale Jarrett and Jerry Nadeau are wheel to wheel once again as Earnhardt has gotten the second spot.
Mark Martin not
Last
getting away
time we
from
saw
the
them,
ball.
Jarrett was out in front of Nadeau, but Nadeau hopped up down on the inside, tried to make the pass. Now look at him coming off
Trying
the
to
corner.
chew
He
up
really
that
gets a
bottom
good
lane.
run coming off of turn 4 here, but not enough momentum to carry him on past.
And here comes Labonte up on the outside.
Thank you, AJMRC. I'm glad you liked 500 Days episodes. Part 1, I figured I was worried Part 1 wouldn't be interesting to a lot of people that just geek out on all the silly season stuff. But I think it's fascinating. I think if I started with episode 2, I would have had to stop constantly to explain who's where and how their team came together. I felt episode 1 was important to kind of at least set the table for everything
a lot of pressure on Jeff Burton to get that
what was
99
at stake
car
for
up to
each
the
of those
front.
teams and drivers. Because it really was. I mean, the silly season between this race here and that Daytona 500 was massive. And the anticipation of Dodge was already at a fever pitch through this race.
Earnhardt for the lead.
And you guys mentioning last race for Bill Elliott running his own
Jarrett's
team.
on the
That
bottom
was
of
of
the
course
track.
a big
Looks
part
like
of
he's
it.
got the line, got a good spot. Earnhardt's got
Dale
that
and Dale
momentum
show up front.
on the outside.
Well, that was about a dead heat when they came across the line. Be interesting to see. Well, the scoreboard is showing Earnhardt is having led that lap.
But the interval was 0.00.
And again, this was a rejuvenated Earnhardt. I can't overstate how much better he was in 2000 than he was the previous really three or 3.5 years. He was very consistent.
Okay, let's go back and show you now this
here too.
Experience, this
he
moment
won
that
some races in 99,
Dave Blaney had in the 93 car as Joe Nemechek
the
was
overall
beside
consistency
him
was
and
there.
Johnny Benson was back of him.
Cruised him to those 7
Blaney,
championships.
of course, in the 93, and here comes Benson down on the inside.
And the 31 car. And we see the 26 of Jimmy Spencer. And what is it with 3 and 4? All these guys getting high up in that corner. Matt Kenseth did that earlier on, I'm told. So that's the 4th car we've seen almost in the wall up in turns 3 and 4.
Then it looks like if you get just a foot too high going into turn 3 that you're too high. That you're just out of the groove where you get the traction.
Battle for third rages on as now Labonte passes Jerry Nadeau. So it is Earnhardt, Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, and Jerry Nadeau, the top 4 cars, with Mark Martin, who was leading just a few laps ago, having fallen back to the 5th position. 85 of the 325 laps that will make up the Napa 500. The finale here at Atlanta Motor Speedway completed. Back in a moment. Right now, a 3-car battle up front at the Napa 500. Dale Earnhardt
Right on. More power to you, AJMRC.
And Jerry Nadeau, not too far behind in 4th position.
Fox could use all the help that he gets,
And
so
then
I hope that works out
Martin
for
is
him.
running in the 5th spot.
Here's Nadeau trying to move on the inside of Bobby Labonte. That's a run coming off the turn, but can you make it stick going down into turn 1? The outside groove has proven to be the best as far as getting a run off the turn.
Yep, Nick, that's exactly it. Got on the 99 to qualify badly, worked their way up to the front. Kind of reminds me of Kenseth, too. And this is very early in Kenseth's career in his first season. Hadn't quite developed that reputation.
Nadeau right
Jeff
now
Burton
would have the
definitely had
fastest
it
car.
back then,
Oh,
late
look at
90s.
Bobby Labonte.
Ooh,
And
hang
he
on,
missed
buddy.
that groove up there just a little bit. And look how
Look
much
at
space he
Nadeau
lost.
just jump on Earnhardt for the lead.
That second spot. I think right now Nadeau probably has the quickest car of these 4 cars if he can run his line. But having to try to pass these cars, it's been a little bit of a struggle for him.
That last lap, he was the fastest of the top 6, ran a 178.9. Earnhardt ran a 178.7.
With the 6th place car, Jeff Burton ran 179.6.
Earnhardt was looking good in 2001. Just again, the way that he's peaking here, he's solidly in the battle for second in points
of
here.
the Pennzoil copter cam, which couldn't even have lifted
Jeff
off
Burton and
yesterday
Jared, I
because of the
believe,
low
like all
ceiling and the
contention
rain
for
we
it.
had. But today in bright
Buckshot
blue,
Jones back in the race 9
sunshiny
laps
skies.
down.
Well, of course, Dale Earnhardt is in a battle for the 2nd position in the point standings, and his rival in that category is Jeff Burton, as we see Nadeau now go to the inside of Earnhardt and take
catching
the
Darrell Waltrip,
lead.
put him a lap down.
And Jeff Burton right now.
go, cat, go.
Jerry Nadeau's radio as they compliment their driver for taking the lead.
Burton is running in 6th spot.
See, Darrell Waltrip just went a lap down. First car that's actually been lapped on the racetrack.
Take it easy on them tires.
Tony Furr telling Jerry Nadeau
They're
not
going
to
to get a lap
easy
on
those
Rick Mast.
tires. Tony Furr, the crew chief on the car.
That was Rick Mast that just went a lap down. He's in 37th position. Here comes Todd Bodine in the 46. He was 24th when we began this segment after the caution flag, and he has now moved up to 10th position. That's pretty impressive move
Yep,
toward
81
the front.
Casper. Dale
He has
Earnhardt.
passed a lot of
This
good
is a
race
common
cars
misconception
on
about
that move.
Earnhardt in the hindsight of this. This
And
man was,
equally as
he may have been very
impressive,
late
two
in
guys
his
who
career,
could
but he
finish
was
first and
just
second
on the
in the point
rebound
standings
when that accident
this year.
happened.
We know that Labonte is going to
You
finish
saw it
first.
during all the
Earnhardt
events and
finished
speed
second.
stuff.
We'll know that
He
the end
was
of the day.
bad.
At any rate,
Just
they
as much
are
of a
battling
bad
for the lead.
as anybody
here.
else out there.
We're battling for
And
the second position.
a big
I
part of
should
it was
say.
this 2000 season and how much he improved that year. He won a couple times in late '99,
And Todd
Talladega,
Bodine picks up
Bristol.
another position. He's now
That
9th.
infamous battle with Terry
putting Gordon
Labonte.
back to
Yeah,
10th.
through 2000, he showed championship. And that consistency is what you needed.
I would
with
guess
that
that
old
Jeff
point system.
Gordon's car was very good in qualifying.
Yeah, won
which
the
means
spring
he did
race in
not have a
Atlanta,
lot
won
of
the
drag.
fall race in Talladega.
That's probably hurting him
Really
right now.
battle
He
there
doesn't
with
have enough
the new
downforce on this
Super
car
Speedway
to
package.
get through the corners.
And yeah,
like the
I
rest
think
of these
nobody
cars.
would have been too surprised if he pulled off that 8th championship.
John Kernan, you got more on
You just see how
Jeff
strong
Gordon?
And you'll see that in future
Benny, not
episodes,
too
too.
long ago, Jeff
This is the
Gordon
same
radioed
team.
in and told Robbie Loomis that the car was now tight. Remember, they've been making adjustments each pit stop throughout the race. They did that too down on the track bar a little bit earlier. He says it is now tighter than it was. While it was loose, it was okay.
Glad you like the videos on Chuck Bound or Trevor Boyes there. I got more videos like that in the works too. That's what I plan to do now
while
that
he's running by himself, he was
Coke
very
works out. I
loose.
want to
Now
focus on making
he's
some more
tight,
videos.
so they're kind of chasing
Got
it all the way around
good
down here.
progress in the next 500 days.
Well, you see that Bobby Labonte is
Some scripts
fastest.
I've been anxious to
Nadeau
kind
is
of work on
second
again, but I
quick,
just
but
really
Todd
haven't had time
Bodine
for it,
was
so
third fastest that last lap around.
I'm not too sure that Ward Burton just didn't have a bad lap.
Todd Bodine, third
He
fastest
has
car on
really
track.
been on the move.
Good for
He has
him.
moved up to the 5th position, just went by his brother.
Todd Bodine's best career finish in 109 NASCAR Winston Cup starts was here, a third in November of 1994.
That was back when he was driving for Butch
Jerry
Law.
Nadeau has the lead of this race.
I brought up my Michael Holligan hat, but it doesn't fit my head too well.
Bobby
So
Labonte.
it's just kind of
Third
more
is
for
Dale
display.
Earnhardt, then comes
It's
Dale
similar
Jarrett
to
and Ward Burton.
one that Jerry
Then
wore
Jeff
back
Burton,
then.
Martin, Marlin, Todd Bodine, and Jeff Gordon.
Putting a hat on my head is like putting a hat on a bowling ball.
Jerry Nadeau in the MichaelHolligan.com, number 25 from Hendrick Motorsports, leads the Napa 500 with 104 laps completed. His interval back to second is 69 hundredths of a second. It is Bobby Labonte here in the 18 that is running in second spot. And we just saw that Johnny Benson passed him. Benson's got some new tires, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He came in for an unscheduled pit stop just a couple laps ago, and we can see that they make a big difference because he came out and passed a second-place car, and he'll go up and try to get one of 2 laps back that he is down.
See, Ricky Craven, the 50 car, is now going a lap down than they do. There's a 50 Midwest Transit red car.
Well, the tail end of the field really spread out. I mean, they're not catching lap traffic as quick as you would expect.
Car next year,
Darrell Waltrip, Ricky Craven, and Rick Mast are all separated by it looks like about like 2 corners
ownership
at
of
least.
the team.
The 25 car will be sponsored by Delphi next year. The General Motors Parts arm and
different paint scheme.
Well, we're looking for the 9th place runner right now, Todd Bodine.
I can tell you, AJMRC, and I've been getting questions on this too. That's no problem. Yeah, the
Dave Blaney and Jeff Gordon.
The next episode of 500 Days is already recorded. I've already begun editing on that. I have a video on Mike Harmon that I'm waiting for Harmon to approve, and that'll be ready in the Patreon before viewers see it. So again, patreon.com/LastCarOnBrock. 500 Days, it's already been recorded and edited. It's got to get the visuals in there, get the video part of it done, and I'm hoping to get that done. I'd love to get... I don't think it'll be quite ready at the end of this month, but first part of next month I think will be realistic for that.
Being allowed to drive this race. Here is Ricky Craven now in the pits.
That'll be the last of the ones I have recorded already.
A lap, and so the crew had him come in.
But I have a couple scripts that are very close to being ready for
send Ricky back out there. And also the 36 of Ken Schrader makes a pit stop. All this coming on the 109th lap of the race.
About, what, 30
fast white car. Glad you like that, Steven. Yeah, I enjoyed that one too. Johnny Benson's story was, again, one of the other interesting stories from this one. You'll see the end of his Aaron sponsorship here in this one.
Of the 2 guys battling for not only position on the racetrack, but for second and third in the point standings. They are running 4th and 5th right now. Dale Earnhardt up ahead as we ride with Jeff Burton. Now the difference between finishing 2nd and 3rd in the point standings is $328,000 plus additional bonus money.
Oh, Tony!
Looks like the right front tire's gone flat on the
They
car.
owed the car. So he was asking about Tony earlier, I'm afraid. Not a good race for him.
The winningest driver in NASCAR Winston Cup competition this year, Tony Stewart, has crashed, bringing out our 6th caution of the afternoon.
Very caution-filled race.
Yeah. Let's get a good stop, guys.
55 of Kenny Wallace had lost a lap, but he got it back. Racing to the caution flag.
Yeah, no lucky dog. People just racing each other with caution.
Pontiac is disabled up against the wall.
I think I saw Tony's drop his right hand a moment ago.
Nick, yep, the surgery. Yeah, he was, ever since he had the wreck in Atlanta, he was really in bad shape. But that's rejuvenated him for sure. Oh.
Did the tire go flat?
Yep.
It's better that it happened coming off the corner as opposed to going into the corner.
He's much higher on the racetrack and didn't have nearly as far to go to make contact.
I'm glad you enjoyed, Stacy. Yeah, I'm planning on doing a couple more of these here over the off season. These watch-alongs. I think this will be fun. Got some thoughts about what the next one might be. We'll see. If you guys have any suggestions of races you'd like to see, we can do that.
One of the United States Auto Club's biggest midget races this coming Thursday, the big Turkey Night Grand Prix, which, by the way, we will televise on ESPN. We'll tape it on Thursday and play it back for you next Sunday. But Tony Stewart and Jason Leffler and several other stock car drivers will go back to the Open Wheel Series next Thursday in Irwindale, California. Now, pit stops become very busy, John. Down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bob, an air pressure adjustment, and also they're going to put a round in the left rear there for Jeff Burton. Just a little bit tight here. Jeff Burton's big question was, did the car that crashed blow a right front tire? The John Kernan.
4 tires for Jerry Nadeau. The only adjustment, a pound down on both left side tires. The Dr. Jerry punch.
25, 18, 22, Chevrolet, Pontiac. Middle of your screen, Bobby Labonte, left side tires. It took a rubber out of the right front. Slide air pressure.
He's going to beat everyone off.
Here's Nadeau already down pit road. Great pit stop for Jerry Nadeau. Tony Furr, 15.6 seconds. Labonte, 17. Ward Burton, 16.2 for Tommy Baldwin and company.
And that's why those pit crews hate to make those chassis adjustments just like they're making there, Bill Weber.
Well, it takes a long time. What they want to do is apparently get a spring rubber out of that left rear. Steve Park's car handled well early in the race. They made a 2-tire stop that really didn't help. This time it's been very, very loose.
Steve Park, one of the last off pit road as the reformation begins now under this caution caused by
maybe
Tony
something from the 80s. That'd be fun.
With the
I was thinking almost like a TNN broadcast, maybe, to get some Eli Gold. Of course, that's more like 90s again.
111 laps have been completed as the track crew is trying to get
maybe something a little further back. We did Coates, of course, Daytona 500 win.
Tony Stewart.
Turn of the decade. I would jump to the 2000s. I'll figure something.
We'll be right back.
Hey, 94 Food City 500, that's a good one, too. See Chuck Bound's pole. Too bad it doesn't get any coverage in the race, really.
It always gives me a thrill to call a driver's first win because I know it's one he'll never forget.
There we go.
Since 1981, we've seen 16 first-time winners here on ESPN. For 5, it's been their only victory in the series. But others have gone on to win many events, and 3 eventually became series champions. Bristol, Talladega, and Daytona have each produced 2 first-timers, and 1988 accounted for the most initial visits to Victory Lane, 3. The list goes all the way back to 1981, our first year of NASCAR Winston Cup coverage. I remember those wins by Morgan Shepherd and Jody Ridley like they were yesterday back in 1981. Well, will we have another first-time winner here today? Well, right now in the top 10, we have 3 drivers who have never won a NASCAR Winston Cup race. Jerry Nadeau, Todd Bodine, and Wally
shout out to Morgan Shepherd. Hope he's
They're
doing
the top 5. Back in a moment.
We're going through a lot.
You rejoin us just as the field begins to accelerate off corner number 4 and take the green flag for resumption of the Napa 500.
Jerry Nadeau beat everybody out of the pits. DJ came out in second. Ken Schrader, who had just made a green flag pit stop, the yellow car down on the inside. Unfortunately, the timing was bad for him.
Big inflatable Coke bottle and Napa fuel filter things in the corner there into turn 1. That's kind of interesting.
That Schrader had to pit because the vibration just got so bad that he couldn't stand it. But
last year, the great looking money
losing a couple of laps.
Bristol Night Race, maybe something like that. I have fond memories of that race.
Earnhardt trying to go by Ward Burton. That's a battle for the 3rd position. And Joe Nemechek's car right in front of Ward is a couple of laps down.
Yep, AJRMRC had the 98 Martinsville races. I was almost thinking of Rudd's win for this. Either Rudd's win or maybe go to 99 with the Brian Whitesole win with Jeff Gordon. Those are pretty significant races for sure.
Jerry, how was the tire wear on Dale Earnhardt's car?
Bob, both the right front and right rear are showing some exposed cords on the inside. They're measuring the right front all along the inside shoulder here. Down on the backside, there's some exposed cords. Then take a look at the right rear. You can actually see the cords exposed on the inside. These are 58-lap tires. Even at lap 35, that mandatory stop early on, he had a little bit of exposure, but not this significant. He's the only driver down here on this end of pit road we've seen have some inside shoulder wear on both right side tires.
That situation should get better as time goes on because this racetrack was very, very green. Not a lot of cars on the racetrack, and then it rained for 24 hours non-stop. So they started on a very, very green racetrack, which is very abrasive on tires. So this situation should get better as the day wears on.
I don't think we mentioned, but this was the fastest pole speed that was turned in at any racetrack in 2000 for the NASCAR Winston Cup season.
Most battle for second points.
As you can see right now, Earnhardt would finish second in the NASCAR Winston Cup points in 2000 by 1 point. If we said, okay, this is it. If they finish in these positions.
Hamilton was 98, Rudd and Paul 98, Andretti in 99, and then the Brian Weitzel race in Paul in 99. Any of those, yeah. Like, I'm almost thinking maybe one of those. Do another ESPN race.
Really, fourth, fifth, and sixth. They
we'll figure something
Ricky
out.
Rudd, but now that's going to kill
here's
his
some good
chances of
ideas.
finishing the top 5.
NASCAR Classics again.
What his feelings
Source
are
video
as we
here,
go
so
to Ray
definitely keep
Dunlap.
supporting them.
Well, thank you, Bob. Talking it over here with Greg Zipadelli. And Tony, any indication you were going to have a tire problem?
No, Greg said we just had a mistake. Somehow the tire carriers got the tires on the wall. Somehow the right front got put on left front on the right front. So I knew this set of tires didn't feel as good as the last. Now I know why.
Top 5 in the points. Looks like that's gone. Is this car going to get back in the race?
I don't know. I just got back here. I saw you before I saw Greg, so we'll find out here in a minute.
Okay, guys. Looks like they're going to put on a new spindle on the right front, upper control arm. They're going to have to replace the shock, so it's going to be 15 or 20 laps before there's any shot at getting the Home Depot Pontiac back on the track.
Let's take a look at the point standings.
Whoa, Mark, what's going on?
Martin Slow is coming off corner.
You always do when ESPN moves the camera over like that.
Closed dramatically.
Wow.
I don't see any smoke, so maybe it's just that he feels like he has a flat tire. We see some dust behind the car, but I think that's just debris that he's kicking up.
Wrong tires in the wrong corners. Yeah, Steve, there you go.
Not a blown engine.
Mark
crazy. That's what put Tony in the wall. But I'll explain it.
Lost it at California. He went from a 24-point lead in the point standings to now 608 behind. Let's get down to John Kernan.
I just talked to Jack Roush. He said Mark radioed in and said a belt came off. So he'll pull in. Engine is shut down. They'll go underneath the hood. Now they say they're done.
Oh, cooked it.
That means the oil pump belt came off.
Well, Mark had 2 top 10 finishes at Homestead and Phoenix. Finishing 6th at Phoenix.
This is back when Atlanta was a weak
point at Homestead, but he apparently is out of the race. Meanwhile, here's a battle for second spot as Ward Burton is to the inside of Dale Jarrett.
Oh, we'll do more of them, Stacy. Don't worry about that.
Summary and show you the point summary.
I don't know if we'll do them every week, but we'll try to squeeze them in.
Has moved up into 5th position at the moment. That, of course, is a result of the fact that Tony Stewart is out of the race. He moves down 1, but everybody else at the moment is static in the top 10. Now, Kenseth moves up 1, dropping Johnny Benson, and Jerry Nadeau moves up into 20th position in the field summary right now.
Well, Bobby Labonte just passed Dale Earnhardt to go into the 4th position, which means that Jeff Burton now right behind Earnhardt. So now Burton would go back in 2nd place in the points table if the race were to win now. This is going to keep changing all day long.
Now down to the final 200 laps. Robert Presley with a good run, 13th.
There is
Kurt
Jeff
Busch in
Burton.
18th.
Again on Dale Earnhardt.
About his 5th or 6th start in his career.
5th and 6th.
Scott Wimmer slips back to 23rd after leading earlier. Robbie Gordon climbs up to 25th after running last for most of the opening stages for Jeff Bedine's run.
He was the pole position winner here at the tag today.
UW in 33rd. Final car 1 lap down.
And then Sterling Marlin.
It's around Mark Barton.
Overhead shots from the Pennzoil copter can. And there on the far right of your screen behind Marlin is Todd Bodine, who's now running 9th, and 75 car Wally Dallenbach completing the top 10. Rays with Mark Martin.
Well, Mark, we heard you say on the radio that a belt came off. Was there debris on the racetrack, or what caused it?
Nah, the pulleys broke off the front of the engine, so we're done.
Boy, when mechanical problems strike, not much you can do, right?
That's too bad. The Valvoline Taurus was working pretty well today. We were just adjusting around on the car a little bit there.
Oh, Mikey.
Get it just a little bit better. Get up there and race with them. Wasn't awesome, but it wasn't far off.
Okay, Mark Martin done for the day. Michael Waltrip in the wall.
He is indeed. We have a fire at the back of the car.
That's too
Michael Waltrip, we
bad.
see him moving around in the cockpit. Hopefully he
His
can
last
get
start
out quickly.
before the 2001 Daytona
We'll
500.
wait till the cars go by. The cockpit of the car is safe right at the moment, but we can see him moving around there. We see him coming out of the car. Waves to everybody, say, I'm trying to get out of here. I'm stuck. Now, Michael's a big guy. We call him Darrell's little brother, but he's anything but his little brother.
I'll tell you what, those are some pretty courageous guys to run out there and try to aid Michael and put this fire out. My hat's off to those guys who run out there quickly to try to help.
He had great quality
Michael,
footage. I don't remember seeing it this clearly back in
not
2000.
Too sure that the cars were slowed down quite enough.
So Michael Waltrip walks away from his wrecked race car, ending his 2000 season.
Qualifying
Take the mandatory
coverage
ride
for
over
this
the
is also
Enfield Care
online.
Center.
Dave
Here
W.,
it
I
is
believe, has it
in
on his channel.
replay.
It was down on the inside of
lost
the
it.
racetrack, and it looks like it just broke loose
Let's
with
see
him.
if he's in a thick
Whether the
traffic. I
tire
don't know
went
if somebody got
down
into
or
him.
What happened? Hard to tell if that right rear tire is flat or not, Benny.
Yeah, he has been running awfully high on the racetrack, and that time he was low on the racetrack, like he decided to try a different line or something. I'm not
It's a good thing he didn't
entirely
get
sure what he was doing
nose
down
with
there, but I
anyone
see when
on
he
the way out.
gets down to the apron, he backs off the brakes, releases the brakes. I think he started worrying about getting out of that thing quickly.
Another caution period means more pit stops. Here they come, Ray.
Jeff Burton is in. No adjustments to the car this time. It will be a four-tire stop, but they need a new radio for Jeff. They can hear him, but he could not hear the crew, so they're going to put a new radio in for him. They come around here to do the left side to John Kernan.
4-tire change for Jerry Nadeau. No adjustments. They toyed with the idea of taking only 2 tires, but Tony first said the car was just too good. Bill Weber.
4 tires and fuel, no changes. Sterling Marlin a little tight on that last set, but did not want to make any air pressure adjustments. Jerry?
4 tires. Ward Burton putting the air pressure backward.
DJ with good stop. Wow, he's going to be well ahead of Jerry.
14.9 seconds for Ward Burton as everyone now screams off pit road. Great pit stop for this Caterpillar crew. Under 15 seconds.
As they mentioned, the only win Ward Burton had that year to this point was a spring race at Darlington, which itself was his first win since 1995 at Rockingham, his first ever Cup win. Ward had himself, looks like Jerry, several close calls and didn't quite pull it off.
Pit work on
So him with a great pit
this
stop
caution
here.
period. The
Tony
7th
Baldwin,
of the
big
morning.
crew.
130 laps are completed. Back in a moment to Atlanta. Caution remains out here at Atlanta Motor Speedway due to the incident involving Michael Waltrip. Now, during the pit stops, remember it is a violation if you get a loose tire and it floats out into pit road. And we almost had that situation with the 13 team as Robbie Gordon was making the pit stop. And now you'll notice one of the guys recognized the fact that the tire is loose, and he'll take off, scramble over and get it. Meanwhile, watch Scott Wimmer as he pulls out.
Yikes.
So he got that tire back just in time to
job,
avoid
dude.
it from hitting Scott Wimmer and also to avoid a penalty.
Right before the crew members had their last names in the uniform. You can't give them a shout out here.
All right, let's take a look at the Napa field summary now. Robert Presley has moved to the front of the
Hey,
field.
another new
Dale
leader.
Jarrett, Ward Burton, Dale Earnhardt, and Jerry Nadeau are the top 5.
Rocking that
133
theme.
laps completed. Little did we know that when Jeff Gordon took the checkered flag on the Watkins Glen Road Course in 1997, he was on his way to a record. For 3 straight years, he won at that New York track and added 3 consecutive victories at the Sears Point facility in California,
Those were 3
making
very
him the
long
king
years.
of road courses.
If you're a fan of anybody else,
Earlier this year
like, I
at the
just got
Global
spotted.
Crossing at the Glen.
But damn, he was, I mean, still the best I've ever
Steve
seen.
Park took the checkered
I
flag
put Jeff
in
Gordon
that
against
event.
anybody.
Well, Jeff Gordon lines up in 13th position now as we get set for another restart.
I've seen
Robert
Jimmy, I've seen
Presley
Kyle Busch, I've
is at
seen
the front of the field.
Harvick. I mean, they're all really good, but
right behind him.
Gordon, I still think is exceptional.
Schrader down on the inside. He's 2 laps down as a result of a green flag pit stop. He sees an opportunity here maybe to get one of those laps back. He doesn't know if he can outrun Robert Presley, but he's sure going to try.
Presley's got a good amount of damage in the right front there, too.
Only the 4th race that Robert Presley has led this year. He did lead 2 laps.
Presley qualified well at Phoenix a couple weeks before this race. I watched that a while back. That was a very good race.
Leader so far today.
Last TNN race.
Not sure if Robert just took 2 tires or a fuel only. He made an awful quick pit stop, but nevertheless, he did get out front.
Nadu just able to pull to that inside lane when he needs to.
Jarrett closes in right on the back bumper. Presley's going to try to get alongside, get position, get alongside and pass him down in one. Almost made some contact, those 2 Fords did. You see the damage to the right front on Robert Presley's car. He made several pit stops trying to put some tape on that. I don't know what caused that fender to be bent.
Another new leader, I guess, Bob.
Exactly.
The 12th one.
That's exactly right. He is leading for the first time today, Dale Jarrett, so he becomes our 12th.
Been a very competitive race.
And Ward Burton goes by the 77 car of Presley, moves into 2nd. Earnhardt's 4th.
And I believe Ward Burton has had the fastest car here the last 50 or 60 laps. And it looks like
Nadu's still able to get to the inside to carve that
Ray
lane
Dunlap is with Michael Walter.
Tracking down Earnhardt.
Mikey, ugly-looking race car sitting here in the garage. Are you okay?
Yeah, love you, Mom. All y'all at home, I'm fine. All you people at home, I'm perfect. Just, I was real loose all day long, and therefore I wasn't getting in the corner real deep, and whoever was behind me probably just didn't anticipate me letting off a little bit earlier than normal. But, man, I just would spin out if I tried to get in deep, so I would roll in, and then I could run good off. And once we got the new off the tires, I had the fastest car, one of the fastest cars on the track. And so just dealing with a little bit of a problem there getting in, and whoever was behind me, I don't blame them at all. I probably let off a little bit before they expected it. And got hit in the back and got knocked into the wall. What a great day for my brother, though. I'm real proud for him. Everybody sending him off the way they did. I even got my uniform autographed by him.
That'll be a nice collector's item, right?
It will be. I'm just so thankful. You know, when you're a kid, they tell you to keep your eye on the ball. And Darrell was the ball to me. I watched him since I was born. And what a role model he turned out to be. Could have been disastrous, you know. But he just did it perfect, and I'm real thankful for my brother.
Well, the good news is Michael's okay. DW's still on the track, and guys, I think he's in about 33rd position, 1 lap down.
He's a lap down, and it's Michael's 10th DNF of the year, so we know that he hopes for much better outcomes.
Good mention there, Nick. Yeah, Cal Wells didn't have his engine pump to low 1. That makes sense. I hadn't thought of that, but maybe that's why they improved so much that next year.
And Dale Earnhardt is now 2nd.
Hey, we talked about how good Ward Burton was. How about Earnhardt?
How difficult they had.
He's already led today.
2000 season, they struggled so much.
The guy that I thought
really bad in the
had
Cup
the best car at
Series.
this
So
point
was
of the race.
Anthony Lazzaro in the Busch
Dale
program.
won the race here in the spring. He has led 12 laps so far today. And Jerry Punch has more.
Guys, 2 sets of tires ago for Dale Earnhardt. He said the car had the front end was just skating in the corners. The last set of tires,
rough year from
the car
Eichel,
was just
sure.
twitchy loose. The car would just sort of jerk loose. They asked him, do you want to change anything? He said, nah, just put 4 on it. I'll drive it how I want to drive it.
He does know how to adapt as well as anyone out there. Because he's been doing it a long time.
The new champion and last year's champion running side by side, but there is also a good battle up front.
And here comes Jerry Nadeau, moves into that 3rd spot, getting closer and closer.
Nadeau's been like in and around the top 5 since like this entire race.
77 car, Presley. That's back for the 9th spot. And here comes Todd Bodine. What a day is having in that Kmart car. Yep. Watch this, folks. Would you like to take that thing down in turn 1 at 189, 90, 93, 94 miles per hour?
Boy, that is fast for a 1.5 mile racetrack.
See the kind of RPMs that Rusty will turn down the backstretch, which is the slowest. 8,800, almost 89.
I mean, it's hard to tell, AJMRC, if Kenny brought Square D to Eel River. Eel River, I think he overestimated how good that program was. It's disappointing because in '99, when Jack Birmingham took over that program late in the year, they had some good runs with like Todd Woodine and other guys there. But 2000, they were just off. Even with all, like, and remember when they had the Bagger sponsorship in 2000, that was like the deepest deep pocket. So it wasn't like they were short on equipment. I don't know if it's just they spent the money the wrong way or what, but it wasn't enough. So I don't know if they would have been much better with Square D. It seemed like, if anything, they were worse.
Inside Dale Earnhardt. They rumble down into turn number 1.
And what, Bob?
They're still running side by side. You thought I was going to say...
Yeah, I really thought you were going to say Navy took over that spot. But you can say it now, I think, very safely, Bob.
And Nadu now takes over the spot.
There you go.
Todd Bodine and Dave Blaney and Jeff Gordon. That's 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yeah, it's too bad walk talk. They didn't bring Bob back in 07.
Another good run going. He's up in ninth position.
It's a tough call. I mean, I can see with trying something different. Dr. Jerry Punch was a good relief play-by-play guy for Bob Jenkins. He actually called Earnhardt's last win in 2000.
Back in 11th.
It just didn't work out.
Well, they're just scattered all over the racetrack, aren't they?
Some high, some low.
I blame it on direction because I know Dr. Punch has the chops. There's no problem there. I think the direction.
Justin Wallace getting a pretty serious challenge from the 17 of Kenseth.
Kenseth leads rookie points by 28 over Dale Earnhardt Jr. going into this race.
Not hurting himself right now. He's running into 8th position where Earnhardt Jr. is 18th. 10 positions behind him.
We're still hanging on at 23rd, still in the lead lap.
Russell just can't keep that car on the bottom of the racetrack for whatever reason. Made some pretty serious adjustments on the thing so far, but nothing has worked.
Gordon tried to take over 11th from Blaney.
Skinner's still back there
that
trying to get his first
Burton
win.
enjoys over Jerry Nadeau. It's about a half a second or less as the laps continue to click off here. 150 are in the books. Nadeau second, then Dale Earnhardt, Bobby Labonte, and Jeff Burton. We'll be right back with more from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Ward Burton continues to lead the Napa 500 here in Atlanta with Jerry Nadeau running a very close second. Get you back to the 46 car of Todd Bodine, who's been racing hard with Jeff Gordon the last few laps. They continue to battle for that 8th position. Jeff gets the nose of the car out front as they exit the corner, but down the straightaway, Bodine keeps him back there.
That's a good point, AJMRC. Not sure how much AJ Foot wanted to keep Mike Wallace.
He's down on the inside of Rusty Wallace. Dale Jarrett up there on the outside.
Yeah, he at least would
back
be
end.
available.
Come around on that car.
Yikes. Todd, good save.
Did a good job of hanging on. Hey, a battle for the lead.
Well, this is the battle for 3rd spot.
You know, I was thinking back to March here when those two were battling for the lead. Yeah, they were really going at it here in March, and of course came across the start-finish line side by side, and Earnhardt won it by just inches.
Running together again, but back in the 3rd and 4th positions.
Looks like Earnhardt's the 3 car is really good.
We could always do that, Steve. We might do our Ken Squire race. We did that with our Daytona show.
Slowing down, allowing the other cars to catch up. Bobby Labonte, Jeff Burton. And you see Earnhardt very high on the racetrack. Ooh, almost got that wall off turn 4.
car coming in for an unscheduled pit stop.
This on lap number 159.
Jeff Burton with the mid-position on there, coming up on
issues for
Bobby Labonte. Here is Steve
Watkins
Clark.
Gledwitter.
This is definitely an unscheduled stop for him.
You hear the engine running.
We had a power going down, vibration or something.
Now Todd Bodine and Rusty Wallace are contesting the 9th position, and here's the Haviland serial scoring on Rusty Wallace, who started 20th, was back in 33rd at the end of lap number 31, and now finds himself in 10th position. Down to Bill Weber, who's with Ron Pemberton.
And Rusty Wallace moving forward on the track. Fell back as far as 41st, but now you're in the top 10. Have you made the car better?
Yeah, we've made a little bit better. We've this racetrack is really loose after all the rain last night, the last day. We still have to work on it a little bit. We might have to adjust on the shocks or maybe stiffen the rear springs up.
Any concern with what happened to Mayfield's car?
There's always a concern when your teammate has an engine problem or some system that's common within the car. So, but if it made it this far, we'll probably be all right.
Okay, now on the track, obviously Rusty's racing for points. He's also racing the 99 car for the Gatorade Front Runner Award and the 18 car for the Engine Builder of the Year Award. A lot going on for this team today.
Larry Wallace, the engine builder for the 2 car, is leading the Engine Builder of the Year award, I think, by about 2 points over Mark Cronquist, the engine builder on Bobby Labonte's 18 car.
We'll know who wins all of those special awards the night of the NASCAR Winston Cup.
How's it going there, Death Killer? Thanks for joining the chat. We are around halfway through.
Get by the 3 car of Earnhardt.
Napa 500 from 2000.
Third and
fourth. A little over an hour remaining here on the stream here for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. We're up to 57.
The Napa 500.
Awesome.
163 laps completed.
And Ned, look who is gaining on these guys.
Look at this.
Kenseth.
Kenseth was good in the spring race in 01. This is perhaps where that legend begins.
He's coming up on the 18 and 3 car. And we understand that maybe Jeff Burton, who had moved up in the top 5 there for a little while, may be having a problem. He's brought back to 6 and he's coming into the pits.
Here is Burton bringing the Citgo number 99 Ford Taurus down pit road, and Ray Dunlap, he's headed toward you.
Well, Bob, nothing on the radio here other than Jeff says I got a pit. So Frank Stoddard said, get ready, guys, 4 tires and gas here. No idea why he decided to come in here. Jeff indicated nothing on the radio before he headed for pit road. They come around here, left side tires. He will go a lap down here. In this situation, Brother Ward leading the race. He's down and away.
14.3 second stop for Jeff Burton, and he rolls back onto the racetrack.
Well, that was a great pit stop, but even as good as it was, as Ray said, he'll go a lap down.
Yep.
Now there are just 28 cars remaining on the lead lap, which is still a lot at the halfway point.
Yeah, very much backstands, Larry.
30-some for a long, long time.
Matt Kenseth was 11th.
I believe they do have Dover in the spring of 1990. That would be a gauntlet. I watched that once before. A 500-mile race to Dover that Derek Cope pulled off. Story of which is in the book, of course, by the way. Cope, of course, available on Amazon.
Remember, Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, the DeWalt car, won the Coca-Cola 600 at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, a racetrack very similar.
Good old days. Life is good tonight. Right on, Nick.
Was patterned after.
There's something about just this overall feel of these broadcasts. Just the
number 17 has
tone, the sound, the graphics. It's so cozy. I mean, you can't replicate this. Best you can do is try to learn what worked and apply it to
top finishing rookie,
which I wish they would do.
8 times.
Earnhardt's making him work for it.
And here we go, battle for the lead, and Nadeau Comes off turn 4, gets on the inside of Ward Burton and
Run your
takes it.
race now. You run your pace.
There you go.
Okay. I noticed on the speed chart that Ward Burton had dropped down to about 176 miles an hour, where Nadeau and others are running 178. As we see Kenseth now down on the inside, looks like he's going to take that position from Earnhardt. No, he didn't slide up in front of him. Thought he was going to, and he thought, maybe this is not the guy I need to slide up in front of.
Well, Kenseth, one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, but he's had extreme difficulty in passing Dale Earnhardt until this moment, and now Kenseth moves to 4th. Now he's got some clean track ahead of him, and he'll be trying to catch up to Bobby Labonte, who is running in the 3rd position. Jerry Nadeau out front here.
That was a good car set, AJ.
62 laps so far and has led the most laps to this point of the Napa 500, the season finale for the 2000 NASCAR Winston Cup season.
Great run for Kenseth, 23rd on the grid into the top 5.
Is being brought to you by Daytona USA, the official attraction of NASCAR. By Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Pick up Enterprise. We'll pick you up. And by Kmart Route 66 Jeans. Close. It's not Main Street, only at Kmart. There's Jerry Nadeau continuing to lead. He has about a 1 1/4 second advantage now on second place Ward Burton. There's the interval back to Ward. The lap car of Scott Pruitt.
Just went a lap down. That leaves 26 cars on the lap.
And the last time Bobby Labonte was the quickest car in the top 6, gaining on the leader a little bit.
There is Todd Bodine, who has is now in the 10th position. He was moving up quite rapidly, but then got
the loose
again
stuff.
way
We did
up
see
high
this
on
in
the
the Busch
racetrack
race in
and
01
had to
too.
back out of the throttle.
Anybody that going up in that
earlier today.
light gray line there, it's just not working.
Get your attention when you do that. I'd like you to back off just a little bit more when you're doing that corner.
Scott Pruitt is on pit road, as Ned said. He just was.
I don't know the history of the Kmart branding, AJ,
It's
but
pit road.
I think that was just part of the.
For 5th between
when they went from,
Earnhardt and
I don't know exactly when they went from
Jeff
Kmart to Big
now
Kmart.
has.
This will be like maybe Land will know more about that. But, it seemed like it was around that late 90s era.
Yeah, he's real good for the first 10 or 15 laps, and then just starts deteriorating and gets worse. It seems almost every lap.
Pennzoil Copter Cam continues to hover over Atlanta Motor Speedway, giving us these beautiful aerial shots. And again, yesterday, the copter couldn't even get in the air because of the horrible weather conditions that we had. But today, there is hardly a cloud in the sky, BP.
No, it is a beautiful, beautiful day. A little chilly, I guess. Those guys from pit road would say it was cold. I'm pretty comfortable myself, but they probably would complain about being a little chilly.
Get some more shrimp or anything for you, BP?
No, I'm fine.
This is good. I'm just enjoying just watching it. Like, my goodness. So competitive. Much like the 2001 race.
The 40 car of Sterling.
Look at all the different grooves tore into the track there in this shot. I mean, it's just everybody running every lane possible.
Dale Jarrett has certainly had some problems recently. Remember, he was up front not too long ago, and he is currently running in the 14th position, 19 and a half seconds behind the leader. Jerry, what's the problem there?
If you take a look at Dale Jarrett's left front headlight area, there's a hole there. DJ either hit something or something debris-wise went through there. But there's a hole in the left front of this quality care Ford there. You can see it there. And apparently that hole is causing a serious push. It says the car will not turn it all in the corner. They're going to patch that hole and make an adjustment to the track bar at their next pit stop. So that's why he has dropped back now to 14th position on the field.
Normally we show you how drivers have advanced their positions after a caution. Unfortunately, that isn't the way it's working for Dale Jarrett, because when we had the restart, he was running in second position, and he has now dropped back, as we said, to 14th.
Actually, he took the lead.
after the restart, and now has dropped back, and a couple of cars that were running in front of him have made unscheduled pit stops.
Park and Burton on their unscheduled stops, still way back in the lineup.
Had just been lapped by the leaders.
Spencer comes in with very high hopes of winning this race before it began. And John Kernan is right there.
And it's a Ford tire change for Jimmy Spencer. He thinks there might be a problem with the shock or something, because he says he goes in the corner and you can just feel the car want to go sideways on him. So they brought him in, changed 4 tires, sent him down and away.
Yeah, it is nice to have like these regular paint schemes.
Now the 2 and the 3 are back.
Back in the day,
Wallace and Earnhardt. This is for the 7th spot.
You could have the season preview where everybody reveals a new paint scheme, and then that would be it. It'd just be locked into the year. You can turn on any of these races at any time. You know where they're running. Unless they're driving for a small team, but those would always change anyway. That would change it anyway. Just like today.
The grooves is getting tighter and tighter, and Earnhardt's car has gotten very tight.
I don't think Musgrave was injured one solid week, but I think it was,
they'll make an adjustment for the
just
first
try
time
different
today
drivers.
when he makes his pit stop in about the next 7 or 8 laps.
Probably Hamilton Jr. And then they swapped car numbers too.
He's down a lap in 28 spots.
One team didn't have enough provisionals or something. That's my only guess on that. Although I think the 0-1, even after Irwin's passing, incorporated the team. Seemed like they were doing pretty good.
He's had some good runs the last couple of weeks, but
one of the top
teams on Friday during qualifying. Down in 1 and 2, the car gets loose and he goes up and tries to nail the gas, but he can't do it. Backs are in the fence, so the car he's using today is a backup car.
And he admitted to us that he was going for the pole. That's what happened.
So the 75 car of Wally Dallenbach, who ran so well. Let's go down to Bill Weber quickly.
Just a quick pit stop for Johnny Benson, a little trouble on the left rear. He believes they have the wrong gear in the car, so it's been a frustrating day for him.
2 and 3 side by side once again. Wallace, Earnhardt.
See, we've had a nice long green flag run here. The field may be strung out, but there is racing happening. You're seeing it. That's what's thrilling.
Lap mark over series champion for 2000, Bobby Labonte.
Holding our breath, waiting for a restart. Oh my gosh. Only we had a restart. No, don't need to.
Lap 188, the car number 88 makes a scheduled pit stop. Dale Jarrett, they put a patch over that hole in the left front, change 4 tires, make a track bar adjustment, and the car number 24 coming down pit road. Let's check in on pit road in their pit.
Jeff Gordon's crew waiting for him to come to his pit as he slowly makes his way down pit road. Just a lap ago, he told Robbie Loomis on the radio the car's starting to vibrate and getting really loose. So Robbie said, hey, come on in. They'll also make a chassis adjustment. As I have to stop a tire on pit road. Brad, the camera guy. And now around to the left side. They make the chassis adjustment. Jeff Gunn in the engine waiting, lug nuts tight. He gets down the way. Back to Jerry Punch.
Air pressure adjustment for Dale Earnhardt. Remember we told you the car was very, very tight in the middle of the corner. They were thinking about a rubber in the left front. They did not have time to get down and away under a green flag stop.
Rusty Wallace on pit road. They wanted him to stay out 2 or 3 more laps to try and reach a fuel window. He said he felt a vibration. He wanted to come. Robin said, come on in. It's 4 tires and fuel. The 46 is also on pit road. Getting the windshield for Rusty. He's got his tires and fuel. He heads back out.
Kenny Wallace moving off pit road also. Todd Bodine.
Chuck, thank you for looking into Cope. Yeah, hope you had a chance to check it out for sure. Audiobook's still in the works. The paperback and ebook are out. Let's put a link to it in the chat here. I haven't done it yet.
That's going to give the lead to Bobby Labonte, who has not led yet today. John?
Tony Furr, Jerry Nadeau, very happy with the way the car is. The last 2 stops have made no adjustments at all. He squeals to a stop. They'll go to work on the right side. Now they're going to peel off the tearaway, and I believe that's the last one they're going to have left for the day. Swinging around to the left side. No chassis adjustments, no air pressure adjustments. Still very satisfied with the way the car's running. Another good pit stop for Jerry Nadeau's crew.
Go.
Just a little over 15 seconds, and Nadeau rolls back out onto the racetrack.
Bill Elliott making his way down pit
I have
road.
to step away. I got a light flickering here at last card headquarters.
Weber is right there.
It's not showing too much on camera here.
Bill Elliott on pit road. Routine stop here. The tearaway bolt from the windshield. To improve the visibility. Obviously, that's been a problem throughout
When
the
did they
day.
start mandating helmets? I believe that was 2001, I want to say, because I think 2001 had the incident at Homestead that Rudd and Elliott and a couple other guys.
Well, get ready for Mike Skinner to come down pit road. Skinner says that the car is very, very good. Larry McReynolds talked to him on the radio. They said, let's not make any chassis changes, but they did decide to put a half a pound of air back in the right front. Now, Skinner wants to stay out there and lead a lap, but he does not this time. He comes down pit road.
This is why I didn't get when people complained so much at like Watkins Glen and the Indy Road Course this year where it didn't have cautions and they just let it play out. I could actually follow what was happening. It was like, oh, well, yeah, if you have a bad pit stop, it's going to screw up your day. It's like, yeah, exactly. We saw that with Suarez at Indy and it was thrilling. It's unfortunate, but it happens. You see somebody like McDowell like three good races together, they should be rolling. Not every race is going to be tons of caution.
Newly crowned Winston Cup champion Bobby Labonte waited and waited. Why did he wait? Because
thank you, Engineer Man. I'm glad you enjoyed the JD audiobook. The Coke one will absolutely be narrated by myself as well, so I hope you enjoy it as well.
Tires, no adjustments, no air pressure. Bobby said the car is getting better and better. We've heard that story before here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the late last season.
I'm not sure if this race had that wreck in it. The 60 in the I don't know if the 60 qualified because I think maybe Sadler tried to qualify. I think he missed the show. So it might not have been this race.
He stayed on the racetrack with some worn tires. Ward Burton, one of the earlier cars to pit. And while Bobby Labonte was out with those worn tires, Ward Burton making up some ground. And there he is, very close to the 18 car. He'll go by Bobby Labonte. But meanwhile, that great pit stop by Nadeau will put him back up front.
Indeed, Jerry Nadeau is going to be the leader of the race.
I'm just going to check here again, see if the audiobook's up. I don't know if it is. I don't think it is. I've been checking my phone here constantly, just waiting for it to refreshing it. This should have been up Friday. It should have been up Friday, but it was not. I don't see it yet. So again, I hate that for you guys. I wanted to make sure I wanted it up by Black Friday here, but it's just not.
Roll it back. You can see where they've circled around.
Luckily, we still got the
engineers showing where the cords are. And Tony Ferd just told Jerry, you're gonna have to take it easy on your tires because that time we ran a full fuel stop for you. So you're gonna have to take it easy on your tires because we showed a little bit of chunking. So now they're continuing to talk things over with the Goodyear engineer. But Tony also told me they could not make it on one more stop. They would need two.
Will we have a first-time winner here at Atlanta Motor Speedway to end the 2000 season? Well, right now, Jerry Nadeau, who has never won in the series, is in the lead over Bobby Labonte, Ward Burton, Matt Kenseth, and Jeff Burton.
Engineer, but Tony also told me
Welcome back to Atlanta Motors 2000 season. Well, right now, NASCAR Winston Cup season here on this Monday now afternoon. Well, ESPN's family of networks will continue to be the home of NASCAR's greatest moments with the debut of our newest series, ESPN Classics Classic Pit Stop, which will take the green flag Saturday, January 6th at 10 o'clock.
There we go. That's always a fun
morning.
show.
With the 1991 Daytona 500.
Ooh, there's a good pick.
On ESPN
91 500
Classic.
is a good one.
Order ESPN Classic,
Ernie
dial
Irvin's
1-800-CLASSIC,
Glory
or
Day.
call your cable provider. And don't forget also that ESPN will continue to be the home of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for 2001. Well, Jerry Nadeau has just lapped the 4-car of Bobby Hamilton, so he is now a lap down. There are 18 cars on the lead lap. Down to Jerry Punch.
Bob, let's update tire wear a little bit here in the new Winston Cup Champions pits. Bobby Labonte, for the first time today, we're actually seeing some exposed cords along the inside of the right front tire. You see along there a big area here, and this was a complete fuel stop. 65 laps on this right front tire. The first time we've seen this on Bobby Labonte. A little earlier, I showed you Dale Earnhardt's right front and right rear tires. His were even worse. This time they came off. So we're seeing significant wear here in the right front, but no right rear wear for Bobby Labonte. What about Rusty Wallace, Bill Weber?
Jerry, it continues to amaze me what these drivers can feel at 190 miles an hour. Remember, Rusty said...
Yeah, the stands are pretty bare. I mean, not nearly compared to like the Monday race today. Last pro, my dad had no trouble getting tickets for New Hampshire. They just dropped in for that one. That race got delayed. And didn't have nearly as many seats as this. This one still had the big stands on the backstretch.
Got to save himself a hard hit. Let's go further down pit road.
Well, Bill, on lap 165, Jeff Burton came into the pits. We didn't know why. He just said the car wouldn't handle. They checked all the tires around. Everything was okay. All the air pressures were up. None of them were flat. But Jeff said he didn't like the way the car was handling. He went a lap down then. But because of all these green flag pit stops that we've had, Jeff Burton is now back on the lead lap. He's running in 8th. So the 99 car hopes we get a caution.
Yes, he does need a caution flag, Ray. You're right. Right now, big time. He's in 8th position, but he has those tires that are worn and losing ground to the leaders.
Need to step away from just a sec, folks. I'll leave it playing here. We'll be back in just a moment.
They're running about 10 and a quarter or 10 and a half seconds behind the leader.
But they're only about 15-20 car lengths behind Dale Earnhardt, the 5th place car. Rusty Wallace has moved his car up to the 4th position.
And he's not very far in front of Earnhardt, like 2/10 of a second. There's Jerry Nadeau, that's the leader. Over 5 seconds. So he's on the racetrack by himself there right now. That's a good position to be in. They're coming up on Terry Labonte, who was running in 17th position. His teammate trying to put him a lap down.
There you see Bobby Labonte, as Ned said, he's now 4.8 seconds behind. Well, that means one thing, I think, that Tony Furr has told Jerry Nadeau, you've got to take care of those tires. And I think right now that he probably is not running that car as fast as it will go because he is, in fact, taking care of those tires.
And the 99 car of Jeff Burton comes in for the pit stop. He wanted a caution. He didn't get a caution. This pit stop is under green.
And he's only been about 45 laps. Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, remember back in March here at Atlanta, they blew the right front tire on the 99 car. He hit the wall.
All right, we're back.
Finished 43rd that day. Jeff
All right, a little darker here in the room. Get flickering lights so if I want to have that going.
Water in there too as the temperature up just a little bit on the 99 here, but this was a caution. Excuse me, a pit stop, 4 tires. They did not
overheating for Jeff Burton, huh?
One more lap down.
Oh yeah, spraying out of the overflow.
Because of the late pit stop.
They very well could, Ray. That was surprising to see that they had
Rujit Gaming, I don't really do Formula One videos. It's really tricky with that. I've already had copyright issues with very recent NASCAR clips, and I imagine Formula One footage is even more selective on that. I know there's a lot of great F1 channels out there that have dealt with similar problems. I don't follow the sport as closely. However, I have narrated videos for NASCAR Man. He did a great profile on Peter Revson just recently. I highly recommend that if you haven't checked it out yet. NASCAR Man History's channel.
There is so much money
in terms of content, I don't really have too much more Formula One content than is already publicly available.
And Jeff Gordon comes up.
It focuses much more on NASCAR, the Cup Series in particular. This, of course, isn't from my channel. This is at the NASCAR Classics page.
As a matter of fact.
I don't know if we ever mentioned it or not, but Tony Stewart has been back in the race for a little while. He got his car repaired. In fact, he's coming
That's
down.
That's why he did return. The crash clock there.
He's back in there, but he's still down in 38th position, 62 laps behind the leader.
Bill, is there a problem with Kenseth's car?
No, Bob, I'm very happy with how that car's running at this point in the race. He has backed up just a little bit, but nothing wrong with the race car. Earlier in the race, they got a set of tires that made the car very loose, and they were really concerned. But since that time, through air pressure and good pit stops, they've made up a lot of time on the track, made the car better.
Backmarker's losing more laps. TW 4 down, 3 down for
before the race.
like Rick Mast.
Yes, they're interested in the Rookie of the Year award. Obviously, they're leading that race, but their goal
There's Stewart on the apron there, as they mentioned him coming back out.
finishing in the top 15 in points. He came in here 14th. They want to maintain that spot. It's also Matt's last race as a single man. He and his fiancée Katie get married the middle of next month.
There you go.
And we certainly do wish them the best.
Kenseth getting married. There you are.
Wallace and Gordon continue to race close for 5th.
Jeff Gordon about the only car here. I guess Navy can probably run on the bottom of the racetrack, but Jeff able to use the bottom of the track. Most other guys, after a few laps, you got to ease back up the track and run the highline.
Yesterday here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Media Center, a real special moment. 6 former Winston Cup champions saluted Darrell Waltrip, and of course his brother Michael was also there. We had it on live, but in case you missed it, you're going to get to see it again. We'll have a special presentation of Darrell Waltrip, a champion salute, Sunday, 9:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. As Waltrip ends his Winston Cup career here this afternoon. By the way, he's running in 35th position, 4 laps down. Jerry Nadeau is the leader of the race, with Bobby Labonte running in 2nd position. Then Ward Burton, Jeff Gordon, and Rusty Wallace now 5th. Right behind him is Earnhardt.
Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace both have passed Earnhardt here in the last couple of laps. And there's old Dave Blaney running solid in the top 10 once again, 3rd straight race.
It took him a while to get the hang of things, but I think this guy in the last few races
very
has
impressive.
Really
wow,
that
Blaney right by Earnhardt. Oh my
in
goodness.
Winston Cup competition. He
Coming down the final 100
first
laps.
top 10 at Phoenix a few weeks ago, and then had another top 10 last weekend.
Look how many drivers have left front
Right
fenders
now, he is
caved
in
in.
the
We
top
saw that
10
on Jared
again.
earlier with
As a
the
matter
hole
of
in
fact, he's headed
fender.
for
Everything was Blaney.
He finished there today. His best career
Presley was
finish,
the other
which
one.
right now is 8th at the Phoenix Mile.
Good for him. Oh, looked like he smoked it a little bit there.
And this week, Dave Blaney.
But again, a very good hint of going into 2001 and how good Blaney ran in that race, leading actually a good portion of that event.
His car will be switched from a Pontiac to a Dodge next year. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on pit road. Got some problems back in the right rear. Don't know exactly what's wrong with the car. Let Ray Dunlap. You know, they thought maybe Ray would know what's going on, but evidently doesn't.
The decals just peeling off of Junior's car there. And over the fender and the nose there. It shows us how abrasive the track is.
Loose back there, but decided to change tires and send Junior back on his way.
The road fire was the spring race. Okay, good catch.
First-time winners in the year 2000. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt Kenseth, Steve Park. The last time we had 4 first-time winners was 1988, and that, by the way, is the most first-time winners in the modern era. During 1998, the following drivers won their first NASCAR Winston Cup race. Lake Speed, Ken Schrader, Alan Kulwicki, and who was the 4th?
Phil Parsons at Talladega.
I was just checking to see if you remember.
In 1988.
Yes. So we could have a tying of that record here today of 4 first-time winners if Jerry Nadeau can.
Boy, Nadeau's car, it's hopping around in the back of the car.
Leaders front down to just a fraction over 3 seconds the last time around. It had been over 5 seconds, but we've already.
That would be pretty cool, Rigid Gaming. I don't know. I mean,
too hard.
You pretty need to do a race-by-race thing. I prefer to probably do it to produce content. I don't want to just straight do the reaction content and all that. I'm not really very good at that. I like doing the production where I can actually kind of mix in storylines and make it something a little bit more condensed too. So it's not just 3 hours race. You can make it an hour and 20, get all that in. That's what I'm looking to do with 500 days. That's kind of my focus. If you'd like a race-by-race thing like 97, I'd highly recommend watching 500 Days, because I basically did the same approach for the 2001 season. So, of course, the events that happened after this race.
And there are even more who have been out front. Steve Park and Kenny Wallace have both led a lap. We have 5 drivers that are out of of the race.
Kenny Irwin was
Michael
in it.
Waltrip, Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield,
that would make sense.
Elliott
It's spring
Sadler,
race now.
and Jeffrey Bodine. And the 88 car of Dale Jarrett has just gone a lap down to 14.
Robert Presley, the 13th and 14th place cars, and now just
You still got well over a half a trigger, a half a straightaway there. Good job, man.
So again, yeah, a lot of the field being lapped, but a lot of the cars very spread out. It's not
It doesn't matter that
not a pack
the
of
lead
cars.
is diminishing, because if you have a 6-second lead or a 7-second lead, if you have to make another pit stop for fuel that the second place car Bobby Labonte doesn't have to make, you're going to lose. So back up, slow down. Sometimes the fastest car does not always win.
Jerry always seemed to have trouble backing off. He always seemed to be just crazy fast. He got the lead. He was going to be a big lead. He didn't get the lead all the time, but whenever he did, it was big. Even in '99, we drove the Melling car, Watkins Glen. He had a big lead.
Live coverage of the Napa 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Our final telecast.
Yeah, I love seeing the cars
NASCAR
bounce
Winston
too,
Cup
611
racing,
Hornet.
Hopefully for just a little while, but we will continue to be the home of NASCAR's greatest moments. Our newest series, it'll be on ESPN Classic Pit Stop. It takes the green flag on January the 6th at 10 o'clock Eastern with the 1991 Daytona 500 Classic Pit Stop.
It's crazy that the
on
first
ESPN
Classic Pit Stop
Classic.
feature isn't an ESPN race. It's a CBS race
Rick
for the
Mastin,
500.
the
It's kind of a weird
Conseco car,
choice.
is having a terrible day. Yeah. He's back in 36th. He's, what, 6 laps down, Ned?
yes, 6 laps down.
We saw Rusty Wallace go down in turn 1 at 93 miles per hour. Let's watch Rick Mastin. We'll see how he accelerates and what kind of speed he's able to attain. 188, 191, 192. We'll check out the telemetry, the Jimmy Dean sausage telemetry in Rusty Wallace's car. See what kind of top speed he has. Down the backstretch. 193 I saw. The front stretch ought to be faster. Rusty Wallace pretty close behind Jeff Gordon as they go by Jimmy Spencer's car. 187, 189, 91, 90. Oh, starts backing out.
Yeah, I think the fact is on the outside of Spencer's car there probably slowed
Blair's
down.
still. Oh, Scott Wimmer, no!
Scott Wimmer slow on the backstretch.
Decal source
Running
looks
in
like
the 17th position.
17th. Wow.
And we understand it's an engine problem for Scott.
Oh.
Got a terrific day.
17th place and blew the engine the final third of the race.
Ricky Rudd has
I mean, it's just a
been
brutal
close to the
track.
walnut missing on that car, so he has come in.
Yeah, he was in for a pit stop just a few laps ago. Kurt Busch is in the pits now also. There you see that 97 car. This Rudd takes his penalty and goes back out on the track.
Kurt Busch just lost a lap not too long
That's
ago.
what I miss from this broadcast. Somebody has a good run, or a bad run. I mean, it gets talked about. And when something happens, like somebody has a good run that's spoiled by something, it doesn't just happen in the background. Yeah.
And see, I've seen this on the 97 car all day long. When he stops and sits there for about 5 seconds, it starts overheating. See some steam come out the overflow, just like we saw on the 99 car.
Well, the 17 car of Kenseth comes in. He's running in the top 10 on the lead lap, but he needs a pit stop here on lap 241, Bill.
And Bob, this
I'm glad you like those, Rigid Gaiman. Yeah, I recommend those. I try to do, I like doing things chronologically. And so,
on this set of tires, they want to make a track bar adjustment 3/4 of a round, getting right side tires. There they make the track bar adjustment. Now the left side tires will come off. The new ones will go on. Matt Kenseth may not and probably won't be able to reach the finish after that stop. He'll need to make one more stop.
And once again, another car, a Jack Roush car, that after he sits there...
Yeah, the attrition's huge in this race. It's just brutal. You got long green flag runs. These cars just pegged. It's like with these, it's like the Pocono races. These used to be never 500 miles. You'd have a bunch of cars
Well, we
drop.
understand that Ward Burton might be having some problems. He's running third, huh, Doc?
They are biting their fingernails down here in the Caterpillar pit. Ward Burton radioed about 4 laps ago and said, I've got a vibration in the right front tire. They thought it might have been a wheel weight or maybe some heat off the caliper, but now Ward has said the vibration is all the way around the racetrack and getting worse. Tommy Baldwin said, can you give me 11 more laps, buddy? Can you hang on 11 more laps and we'll bring you in? And Ward says, I'm hanging, but it's getting worse and worse and worse.
Well, I tell you, most of the time those vibrations don't cure themselves.
Got bleached the nose of the car as their track
Serial
surface.
scoring shows that Ward Burton has been as low as 39th, and he's been as high as the leader. Meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt now makes a pit stop, Jerry.
Dale Earnhardt comes in. He will not be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel from here, but they would have decided to go ahead and come in. You got to make 2 stops. Why not come in, get fresh tires, and pick up some time on the racetrack? Winningest driver in Atlanta Motor Speedway history, a 9-time winner, including the race here in the spring. 4 tires, slight air pressure change. Remember, Earnhardt didn't put the car is getting tighter and tighter from the middle of the corner off. He will have to come in one more time as they make outside tires on his car. Dale Jarrett also in the pits right in front of him. 16.1 for Earnhardt. He's away.
Dale Jarrett going to do the work on the left
It's
side.
interesting looking at the Jarrett scheme. They kind of went for a retro version of the red carpet lease sponsorship on the quarter panels. I think it was just at Ford Credit there in like in 2099. I never really thought about that as being the throwback scheme, but I guess it was. Have quality care of the back.
Yeah. That car may overheat while it's sitting still, but look what it's doing while it's moving fast. This is the right rear off Matt's car, and you can see that it is worn to the cords and chunked out big time in here. So these guys really gonna have to watch their tires. Several other teams talking about sliding that right rear. So they're gonna have to be very cautious here. Final laps of this race to Jerry Punch.
Ward Burton coming in for what should be, well, they may have to make one more stop. They did make it an extra 9 laps with that vibrating right front. Will be interesting to take a look at that right front tire when it comes off. Tommy Baldwin and the crew pull away the last tearaway off the windshield. Left side tires going on.
Even the decals on the nose, the 76 decal far left there wore out and kind of faded.
Fantastic pit stop for Ward Burton under that kind of pressure, under 15 seconds. Talking about what's the rear tire change on the Ford Quality Care number 88. Tighten those lug nuts.
Oh, yikes.
Something happens and bam, he just falls.
Oh, you just fall around your elbow like that. Yikes.
John Kernan.
Well, you had elbow pads there.
Gordon is in for service. They also put some wedge in the car and got loose again.
Yeah, it's like they dumped a track full of sand. Exactly, yeah. I love that. It shows how much character. You see the race like here, Rockingham, Darlington back then. Oh, man. That's what you get. Even the super speed race, too. You probably see a little bit of it at other tracks, but definitely the high speed, long distance.
Maybe out of fuel. He has made it to pit road, and Blaney arrives in his pit box, Jerry.
And a tough break for Dave Blaney. By the way, his teammate Scott Wimmer a moment ago was not an engine. He ran out of fuel as well. We are now being told.
Oh, he ran out of fuel. Okay, good.
Right side tires, left side tires. A lot of teams trying to stretch the fuel. They can go into one more stop. They cannot make it from here.
Glad they followed up on it. That's another thing that's great, too. Because people actually care how these guys are doing. You know, if you report one thing and think they're out, just say something. Oh, wow, Todd got used up. Wow. A bite out of those decals.
Work completed, and Todd Bodine goes back onto the racetrack.
MVP will have to make another stop now, 75 laps to the end. I don't think that he can make it that far.
Jerry Nadeau, Bobby Labonte, and Mike Skinner are the only 3 who now haven't pitted in the last few laps. They remain on a lap by themselves. Jerry Nadeau has just about a second advantage over Bobby Labonte.
I think we've had at least a good 130, 140 lap green flag run here. At least it feels that way. Definitely remember watching this portion of the race. See Todd on good road.
Cup champion didn't quite work. Bobby Labonte has run out of gas. They were trying to stretch the fuel.
Oh, wow.
And now they're saying that, no, it may not be fuel. The car is actually running when coming. We're hearing Bobby tell the crew, right front tire may have gone down on the Interstate Batteries Pontiac. Bobby making a pit stop about 6 laps before they had scheduled themselves to come in. Here on lap 255. Left side tires going off 12, 13, 14, 15.6 seconds.
Hey, Cerrito Landry, yeah. We're right near Atlanta Motor Speedway. Very cool.
Laps to go. I think that'll really be pushing it to go the rest of the way without stop. So do I. Now, can he run to?
If he runs another 2 or 3 laps, I think he can do it. Well, here he comes.
Nadeau gets it down over the speed limit. John Kernan.
Jerry Nadeau was going to stay out 3 more laps, but as soon as Bobby Labonte had to come in and pit, Tony first said, let's pit the next time by because it's between us and the 18 car to go the rest of the way. So everybody's going to have to pit one more time. Don't know if he can stretch it to, what would it be, 69 laps. That would be quite a stretch. But 4 tires and air pressure adjustment. You heard they wanted some wedge earlier, but they decided to make it with an air pressure adjustment.
Great stop, guys. Great stop.
It was a good stop for Jerry Nadeau, but that now
really see like how much the fender, left front fender is flared out. It's almost flat at the left front, like it got caved in.
Leading 191 laps, but now he has decided that he'll come in for a pit stop. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bob, this was strategy for 2 reasons. Number 1, they can make it for fuel, no problem, but also to give them a couple more laps on those tires. These guys can go all the way. Now, this strategy only plays out if this race stays green. Left side tires are on, and Mike Skinner is down and away. And Benny Parsons at the beginning of the season predicted that Mike Skinner would be one of those first-time winners. Guess what, BP? Today's your last chance.
Yeah, don't remind me. But if Skinner can run,
Skinner looking good.
About 68 laps on a tank of fuel, he just might pull this thing off because in the 22 car of Ward Burton, the 18 car of Bobby Labonte, the 25 of Jerry Nadeau, when they stop, they're going to lose about a lap.
Ward Burton has a 5-second lead on Jerry Nadeau.
5 seconds. Look how massive an advantage that was from Ward's pit stop.
Short pitting, as you say, and he's been out there a while on these new tires.
Yeah, short pitting just tore some fast laps there.
Pick up a lot during that period of time. He's run about, 10 or 12 laps, I guess, on this set of tires. Of course, maybe he has new tires now, so that lead will probably dwindle.
This is the 3rd time that Ward
strike the music up.
has been out front of the Napa 500. We've got 259 laps completed, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to live coverage of the Napa 500, the final race of the 2000 NASCAR Winston Cup season.
Look at this, even the lap cars are like locked in like 2 or 3 wide.
And Dr. Jerry Punch, and we are 264 laps into this 325-lap race with Ward
remember this
Burton
latter
out front
part
by
here,
a
very
little over
clearly.
5.5
Ward
seconds
Burton kind of
over Jerry Nadeau. Bobby Labonte is running in the 3rd position. Well, what's coming up on SportsCenter tonight at 6 o'clock with Trey Wingo, Kenny Mayne, and Chris McHenry? Well, the latest BCS rankings come out today. A great matchup on Monday Night Football. Skins back against the wall. And how do you fall from number 1 to number 2? How about because you haven't played a game? All those stories and more tonight on SportsCenter at 6
tuning in here. About a half hour remaining in the broadcast here, coming down to the last 50 or 60 laps of this. We'll talk a little bit at the end here of the show here, and then put a pin in the broadcast tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Closing stages of the 2000 Napa 500 from Atlanta.
Okay, we go down to John Kernan, who's in the 25 pit.
Bob, I'm with the right rear tire off of Jerry Nadeau's car. Remember, I told you they were going to try and stay out there 3 more laps, but when Bobby Labonte pitted a couple laps before, they decided to come in.
Yeah, Wayne, is John Hendrick. Was that Papa Joe or is that a different person?
Down to
John
the corner,
Hendrick.
65 laps, they said. That's the maximum number of laps that they could do. So they're going to come up about 4 laps short from the end of the race. To Dr. Jerry Punch.
And we
told you Bobby Labonte made an unscheduled pit stop about 5 laps early. He thought he had a tire going down. Well, actually what he was feeling was a vibration in the right rear tire. Here's the inside shoulder of the right rear tire with cords showing. Folks, all this right here, that's fabric. The rubber is completely gone, worn completely out at 60 laps. Now, the fuel situation here, we are told that if Peter Jellin got...
glad you're enjoying it, Lucha. I hope you guys are all enjoying it. I know I'm kind of light on the reaction here and all this, but I don't want to stomp on too many of the good moments here in this. But yeah, obviously, if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to share them there.
Well, Jerry,
if I have any memories of this, I'll definitely bring them up, because this is about the time things got magical.
Inside the right front of Rusty Wallace's right front tire, you can see it's worn down to the cords here. Now, this team's concerned about this. This was less than 60 laps because they went with a very conservative upper control arm, conservative setup. Basically, it's a combination of a green racetrack and camber that's doing this. But this is going to affect the final 70 laps or so of this race because the teams aren't going to have to make it.
Okay, different person. No, thank you, Wayne. You're right. It did look more like Rick. Yeah, that would make more sense. Brother rather than father.
As quickly as 16 or 17 laps from now.
Well, here's a UPS snapshot on Rusty Wallace. Has been as low as 43rd.
Oh, he's a very strong Dustin. Yes, absolutely.
41st, rather, as high as 3rd. Currently 4th. He started back in the 20th position.
What these teams now are deciding to do, I'm sure, is take the amount of remaining laps that they had after they made that stop and just cut them in half and not take any chances on wearing those tires out. And that way,
yeah, I remember watching this. I mentioned it in the Nadeau video. I was watching this, like, Ward's got this huge lead, and I didn't understand that, yeah, he short pitted and stretched it out that much. And I'm just hoping there's a caution. This race has got such a green look to it. The field is so strung out. And, you know, as good of a race as it's been, it's like, man, you know, Jerry's going to come just short of winning a race this year. He's going to get all the way to second. He's going to lead a lot of laps in it. He's going to have one of the best cars the entire weekend in qualifying second. And then have it not quite shake out. And so many times it is. You know, that happens. It's racing. But, yeah, you got people talking about, like, Red Sox fans, and, like, they were hoping that they'd sweep the Yankees there, the ALCS in 04. That was kind of the same feeling, you know. I was like, oh, man, I want Jerry to win this, especially in that car, so he's not going to run that paint scheme again.
As I showed you a moment ago, it was just 60 laps, and you'd have to run 70 laps. Bobby, what do you want to do? Bobby said, let's think about maybe short pitting with
12 Hall of Fame drivers in this race. Good way to put it, Ethan.
And I'll run them down as hard as I can to try to get the win. That way we don't worry about tire wear.
I'm glad you're enjoying it too, Dustin. Thank you.
They're still thinking about it. That's what Bobby voted for, and I think his vote carries a lot of weight. He sits in that seat.
Well, with the
wider is better.
These short pit situations, we're going to take a break here and then come back to see if they indeed have it.
Oh, boy.
Ward Burton is leading over Jerry Nadeau, Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace, and Dave Blaney, and we'll be right back.
And great race overall for Blaney and Kenseth and Skinner. And yet Rusty coming back from the
Atlanta Motor Speedway,
spring issue at the beginning of the right front.
500. The leader is Ward Burton, Jerry Nadeau running second, and the man with whom we ride right now, Bobby Labonte.
Yeah, I'm sure for Yankees fans, probably 2004 ALCS doesn't bring the same memories. But I was roommates with a Red Sox fan back in 04, so I remember very keenly that October into November.
You know, even though the points are over with as far as we're concerned, at the end of the year, I think satisfaction is there's still 34 races that we want to race, and we want to go out there and do the best we can. It would be unbelievable if we can win that race, and we're definitely going to try.
He is trying very hard. He's 13 3/4 seconds behind the leader right now, but again, strategy is being played out in the pit area that could have a drastic effect on the outcome
right side damage.
We know for a fact that Ward will have to stop. Right. He's the leader of the race. But
I don't know how much of the post race is in this, but I'll be curious, because I think the Cope ones seem to end pretty quick. But we'll see.
About 30 laps to go. They have
I don't know how much of it is shown on the NASCAR Classics
page.
page.
In fourth position is Rusty Wallace. Wallace. And in
may
fifth
just be the finish.
is Dave Blaney back there in the 93 car.
But there is a wonderful
46
tribute that
car running here
ESPN
at the
did to
bottom
their
of the racetrack.
20 years of broadcasting
Boy,
races.
Todd Bodine has given
It's
us
not
a
here.
great run today. Todd currently 13th. Darrell Waltrip in his final race is back in 35th position, 6 laps down.
Tell you what, Dave Blaney's liking this Worcester Cup racing all of a sudden, isn't he?
So good to hear Dave get a lot of
strides
attention.
for sure. And we are now beginning to see the final pit stops. Jeff Gordon's on pit road.
Jeff Gordon, after starting on the pole, dropped as far back as 12th and has worked his way back into the top 10. This will be his final pit stop of the day. Another adjustment, this time on the track bar. And as it went up, it looked like about a half a round there. And the left side tires now going on. Gordon keeping the engine gunning full of fuel. He is away.
Just 15.5 seconds stop for Jeff Gordon.
He was revving that engine trying to make sure when he let the clutch, release the clutch on that car, he did not kill the engine.
Here comes Matt Kenseth down pit road for what should be his last
All
pit
right,
stop.
we're down to it.
While Ward Burton continues to move away.
Look, he's extending the lead. It's just like, oh man, it's over. Of course, I mean, you got pit stops for the last few leaders, but I
almost
mean,
a 10-second advantage. Now Matt Kenseth is in, Bill.
This is a big stop for these guys. They made a track bar adjustment, chasing that Rookie of the Year award. 4 tires and fuel. Matt should be good to the end of the race.
And Dave Blaney is about to take away the 4th spot for Rusty Wallace.
and Blaney, rocket ship. Didn't need that Dodge. He was just as good into the Pontiac as he was in the Dodge.
Saw the 43 car of John Andretti there in front of him.
Or if it was the same car. I know Petty's built a lot of new cars in 01. They started completely fresh, but Bill Davis, if you recall, Ward Burton's Pontiac was his dominant Dodge in the 2001 500.
Andretti has passed several cars. There he is in the 43. He started back in 41st position, but is steadily
Andretti getting gobbled up there.
17th.
Oh, he's coming to pit road, yeah. Todd and Blaney just shot right by him.
Andretti made a pit stop just as we were talking about him.
Oh yeah, Andrew, yeah. The Amoco paint scheme was great. Loved it with the bright orange numbers. I'm a sucker for that color.
Less than 40 laps to go.
Elliot Marino had here. I'm a hardcore Bills fan, but I don't mind wearing Dolphin colors for Jerry, that's for sure.
Coverage of this series, which dates back to 1981.
I actually got a duplicate of this hat. This is the same hat that I was wearing back in. This is literally the hat, but I could keep that in a safe place there. My hat from 2002 that I was wearing when he almost won Sears Point, and then Jerry signed it in 05. This is just a blank one here. Bring out for the show tonight. Ooh, Stewart getting out of the way there.
Mike Skinner dropped back to 8th position after that pit stop, and Ray can tell us what happened.
Well, Bob, they're just hanging out there, just running their
Hey there,
laps.
Jonathan. Thank you for tuning in. We're coming down to the last 38 laps.
So they know that the 31 car
Napa
can make it
500
the distance
Atlanta,
on fuel. So if this thing stays green, they got a real good shot at winning this. But here's the problem. Mike called in and said apparently the alternator has gone bad because he's running the battery down. So Larry McReynolds told him, shut off all your fans and everything you can do to try to keep that thing running. We're going to win this race. Now, the last victory for Larry McReynolds as a crew chief was back in the 98 Daytona 500 with Dale Earnhardt. Today is his final day as a crew chief as he moves to television next year. So this would be a big win for Skinner, but also a big win for Larry McReynolds. Bill
There you
Weber?
go. See Larry McReynolds recently on Stapleton's 42's Kenny Bernstein video. Very much enjoyed that. But yep, the end of an era for him as well. Him and Jeff Hammond. Hammond being Kurt Busch's crew chief in the 97. And then wrapping up their careers in this race.
When you short pit is that you could get
Hammond
burned by
we've
the
seen
caution.
recently as truck
You take 4 tires and send Rusty back out. Great stop for those guys.
Blaney will relinquish his 5th position to make his final pit stop in the Amoco Pontiac. Jerry Punch, he's headed toward you.
After back-to-back top 10 runs at Phoenix and Homestead, Dave Blaney comes in for what should be his final pit stop of the 2000 season. What an impressive final part of the year for this rookie contender. Blaney now left side tires going on the Napa Pontiac for Bill and Gail Davis. Doug Randolph and company. Slide air pressure adjustment. Left rear lug nuts are on. He is away. 16.2 seconds.
There's Wimmer coming out too. Teammate.
Dale Earnhardt, the next to hit pit road. The GM Goodwrench Service Plus Chevy arrives in his pit box.
This is why it's so good to have long distance races. Then any strong runs are there.
Second in the points, and 19 points separating he and Jeff Burke when the day began. They cleaned the windshield. Every 4 tires. Once again, ever so slight on the air pressure. They freed the car up for these final laps here. The final 32 laps.
Pit stop was just a tick slow on Earnhardt on the Goodwrench Chevrolet that time as Jeff Gordon goes by. Car he's been racing with most of the day.
Still out front is Ward Burton. The interval is 10.5 seconds. Back to Jerry Nadeau.
See, that was 10.5 seconds. I'm like, oh man, it's over.
Very soon. He just keeps pulling away from these guys. He's still running around 180 miles per hour. I know they've got to stop, but I would think that they are not looking forward to stopping and putting on 4 fresh tires because
this set of tires.
I know I mentioned this at the very beginning of the show, this being at the same time as the Bush v. Gore decision. You want to feel old or young. 2000 election was the first presidential election I voted in. So that puts that in perspective.
9.3 that time.
That was, yeah, kind of in the background at the same time in November of 2000.
Waiting for him when he decides to come in.
You know, you wonder if
a lot of dust on Earnhardt's nose, for sure.
I think that it's a joint call between the driver and the crew chief. They've been looking at that tire wear and know that they have to make another pit stop. As Benny said, they
should be within about the last, like, 35 laps here, Death Killer. Very close to the finish. Leaving the video, we're down to the last 20 minutes of it.
Anything the least bit funky, he will be on pit road. If he goes in the corner, if he gets a spot of oil and that car slips, he's going to think tires and he's going to head for pit road.
Funky.
Out of the ordinary.
Okay, this time, 4 tires and fuel. This time.
4 tires and fuel.
Or until 2 years later. Yeah, see, there you go. A lot of guys, I'm sure, are much younger than myself. Yeah. I was
find a 43 spotter.
Turned 18 in October of 2000. That was, yeah.
Use your head. His spotter told him that I can't find the 43 spotter. So move over, give him a signal, let him know your intentions, that you're going on pit road so he will not run in the back of you. And here he comes, the leader of the race.
Could Atlanta have the last race again as a drafting track? I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the idea if we have to have the playoffs to have a super speedway race be the last race of the regular season, because it's going to be a crapshoot anyway if somebody gets in the last second. I don't see them having a championship there. And again, I love going to Phoenix. I love that it's not too far to drive to, but even I would concede that I think Homestead would be a much better championship. I'd love to cover that. I've never covered Homestead. But I've also never covered Atlanta before, so I don't know.
To finish the 2000 season with a win at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The 18 cars in as well. Bobby Labonte on pit road for the Interstate Batteries team's final pit stop for the day. They've gone to the right side, now the left side for Labonte. No adjustment for Bobby Labonte. They are short pitting. They can probably make it on
See the big 4-0 recently. Yep. I turned 40 last year. We went and did our trip to Vegas. 41 now.
Hilton and the crew finishing work on the side. And Bobby moving back to the racetrack with just 27 laps to go.
27 to go. Here we go.
Barry Cook, the rear tire change on the Interstate Batteries Pontiac, had all kind of problems that time. And we saw a 20-second stop. Bill Weber.
Sterling Marlin on pit road. They talked it over, talked about just doing 2 right side tires, saw that everyone else took 4. They're going to take 4 as well, obviously just topping up the fuel cell. Left side tires going on.
Marlin with a very solid
in the
ride.
Bell South ride, and we go to Kernan.
Jerry Nadeau is in for 4 tires after they were planning on stopping with 4 laps to go, but as soon as they saw Bobby Labonte come in and pit, they decided they could not allow him to beat them by short pitting. So Nadeau is down and away with a good stop on the team's stop.
Fast stop, so he's some time, really. Very consistent.
But now that puts Mike Skinner in the lead. Will his strategy pay off? Will the car hold out? Remember, he led so many laps here in the spring and failed.
So Ricklesy will be 18 in 2 weeks. Well, happy early birthday. There you go.
Well, the
now I feel really old.
When we come back. Well, the question that we asked going to break was answered very quickly. The strategy that Mike Skinner had, well, it's kind of down the tubes because shortly after that, Ward Burton passed him. Ward Burton has the lead and has separated himself by almost 4.5 seconds over.
Ward Burton
Mike
really
Skinner.
capitalizing on a short
Now, what
pitting.
about the 18 car, though?
We talk about this 18 car in the pit crew all year long. They have just been super. But watch this right rear tire. Barry
3 years
goes
old in
around.
2000, Thomas.
They
Yeah,
throw
see, there
the
you
tire
go.
on. They let the jack down, but the tire, the right rear
Yeah,
tire.
so Ricklesy, and I hope you check out the clip book too, for sure. We do have it on Amazon. The audiobook, still waiting for it.
But they cost him about 5 or 6
But
extra
printed
seconds.
ebook is definitely available. But thank you so much, you guys, for your support on that. Hope to keep that going through the winter here and into February for the 500.
We've seen that overheating problem with those cars today.
Oh.
Jack Roush himself. And they're
Roush
putting
throwing
water
through a
in
clipboard
Kurt
there,
Busch's
looked like,
car.
to get the
We've seen
overheating
it on the
hose.
99 car.
That was interesting.
We saw it on other cars from the Roush stable.
Now the 18 and 93 are racing
Chick-fil-A
for
on
position.
Marlin's car? I thought that was on
It's for the
a different paint
position.
scheme.
Bobby Labonte.
He's running the 40. He's got I saw he's got the Bell South Peach State, Peach, Georgia Peach kind of paint scheme there.
But they are
It's weird because I know that they kept the Coors black and gold paint scheme on the 01.
5.7 seconds behind Ward Burton.
But Jerry Nadeau is gaining on Ward Burton. But now, can he continue to gain at the pace that he is? Look at Burton. He knows he's got to
Oh,
go.
Ward is flying.
There's
17 to
20
go.
On the inside of turn 3 on the inside of Gordon.
And Benny, they're turning lap speeds of 184, 185 miles an hour. We've been talking about 178.
Peach Bowl. There you go. Thank you, Andrew.
180. I mean, they've stepped it up.
Down to John Kernan.
So yeah, at this point here, Jerry's
And
trying,
there's
and
good
it's
reason for
like
that.
it's still not going to be
Tony Farr,
enough.
For the first time this race, after this last pit stop, finally told Jerry Nadeau he could get everything he wanted to get out of that race car. He had been holding him back throughout the entire race from the beginning, preaching to take it easy, be easy on the tires, save fuel. But after this last pit stop, Tony got on the radio and said, Jerry, go for it. Take it to the front. He said, you can do it. You're a half a second a lap faster than Ward Burton.
There we go. Cracking them down.
15 laps to go.
And every time Ward Burton
But look, I mean, look at all these lap cars. There's like a dozen of them between them.
To his advantage, and he's mowing through that traffic with ease right now. Now, Nadeau might be able to do the same thing. Here comes Ward up on some more traffic.
That last lap, Jerry Nadeau ran over 185 mile per hour average speed as he tries desperately to get his first victory in NASCAR Winston Cup racing, but he's got to catch that car, the cat car.
4.6 seconds last lap interval. This lap is 4.3, and the caution is out.
Oh!
Yes,
yes. Now, would Jerry have made up 4.3 seconds and passed through all that traffic in 15 laps? Probably not. But I'll tell you this. I probably owe Scott Pruitt like 20 years of Christmas cards for drawing that caution, which punched the field back up, and it's like, oh, thank goodness. Look at all these lap cars, and then Dallenbach gets dumped.
From behind and spins, does a nice 360 and keeps going.
That is unbelievable.
How about that?
Good recovery.
That is unbelievable. And the grandstand stand and give him a standing ovation. I think I will. Attaboy, Wally.
Great move. Boy, Joy Chitwood would be proud of that, wouldn't he? Man.
So now, what happens as far as pit stops?
Scott Pruitt having problems in 2000 was one of the consistencies of that season. right to the end.
Here it is. Well, the tire's up there. The left rear tire is up. And watch Earnhardt go by on this car on the inside.
Ah, boy, that could have been really bad. Oh, it's still not over. Yikes.
Rusty, I thought it was Earnhardt. And here's where the 43 car of Andretti runs out of
Oh,
racetrack.
yeah, Andretti was just forced over by Dallenbach.
Folks, just watch this.
Hell of a save by Waller.
Just like they teach you at the Joey Chitwood driving school.
That is unbelievable. Great job.
I mean, again, last start for Galaxy Motorsports there. They got that sponsorship that they jumped the gun on it. They made it sound like they had it. Just didn't work out, and then they had to. They tried to run Daytona, that fell through. Tried to run Vegas, that fell through, and then soon you had Dallenbach suing the team.
But will somebody stay out and try to steal one?
That's what I'm thinking.
Ward comes in, I'm coming in.
If Ward comes in, I'm coming in.
Yeah, right. Now the game of chess begins.
Here we go.
I mean, a nerve-wracking situation. You got like more than 10 laps to go.
Ward, is he going to
everybody's just pitted under green.
Is he going to? Oh, yes.
Wow.
Here we go. Money stop time.
Ray Dunlap.
4 tires here for Mike Skinner, but no gas, guys. They don't want to take a chance on any mistakes here, and they like the way the car is handling, but it will be a 4-tire stop. John Kernan.
It'll be right side tires only for Jerry Nadeau. Tony first. Crew chief asked him what he wanted to do. If he wanted to go forward, 2. Jerry said 2. Dr. Jerry punched.
2 tires.
Right side tires going.
Like Jerry was so insistent on the 2-tire stops in 2001.
Likewise, 2 tires only.
Still came up behind
Ward.
Ward.
The 3 car in the 18. See you, Bill Weber.
The 2-bunch talked it over. 2 right side tires for Rusty. 9.5 seconds.
Ward Burton leads the race off pit road, and we are now set up for what could be a thrilling finish to the season.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Field gets the signal. 1 more lap, and then we'll go back to green flag racing.
Boy,
now let's take a look at the point standings
Buckshot's car
as they are
riding
right
a little
now.
funny there on the apron.
The only positions that have changed in the top 10, very important one, Dale Earnhardt now in the runner-up spot, and Jeff Burton is in the 3rd. But again, look, only 4 points
Again, with these
separate
points, very still Bob Latford
in the
points.
battle for the
185 points
place.
for winning, basically
Okay, here's how
34
they're
points for
running.
finishing last.
9 cars on the lead lap. Burton, Nadeau, Wallace, Blaney, Marlin, Skinner, Labonte, Earnhardt, and Gordon are the ones that are left to battle it out.
There's 16 through 30.
Look how much they just tore through the field here. Multiple laps down for
and the remainder
like 2/3
of
the field
now
and then
with
a lot of people out.
6 cars officially out of the race.
Stewart eventually parked
Saw
there
Jeff
with
Burton back in
running
13th spot,
laps
1
down
lap
with damage.
down. But he has 1, 2, 3 cars in front of him. If he can pass 2 of those cars,
I think Grissom was entered the 44th,
whose
but I don't believe he
position doesn't
qualified.
pass
I don't think I've seen his car
Burton
yet in
will
this
beat
race.
Earnhardt for the
runner-up position.
Runner-up position.
They've waved off the restart. We will not go green the next time around. So we'll take a break so that we will be back when they restart.
All right.
Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we have just a few more laps of racing to go in the 2000 season.
Trailer, it says PlayStation 2 on it. Was that PlayStation 2? Is that 2000? Or am I just seeing
7
things?
laps to go, and they come back this time.
I don't even know.
Bob can never figure that out without his calculator. Ned. All right, pace cars back.
Oh, yes.
About to settle us on the racetrack.
I could not tell you how excited this
Rusty
was.
laying back for a great start, but Nadeau.
Got him, caught him sleeping.
Blaney
gets routed, unfortunately.
Gets loose, and look at him charge toward the front of the field as Nadeau.
And here comes Labonte, the 18 car with 4 fresh tires. And look what a run he has done.
Onside move in turn 1.
What you want. Yeah, you want to stay out front.
Protect your bottom. Bobby's telling you, protect your bottom.
Nadeau takes the lead down the backstretch. Labonte tries to come to second. Ward Burton, however, has second. And look at Dale Earnhardt using the middle groove to hang in there in 3rd and challenge Ward for 2nd.
Well,
Bobby got his momentum broken there for momentarily, and Earnhardt just shot right up in there. Mike Skinner now coming up through there. He has 4 fresh tires as well.
And all this is doing is allowing Nadu to stretch the advantage here.
Ford's working over Skinner pretty hard.
3 wide racing behind him. Jeff Gordon to the inside of Skinner.
And he'll try to drive down the inside of Bobby Labonte. There's a tire. Whoa, caution is coming out. Nope.
Oh, yellow.
It's from the 93 car.
Or Blaney, though. See, again, terrible luck with 2 straight Atlanta races.
Wow.
Had a certain top 5.
But can Nadu stay in front of Earnhardt? That is the question.
Earnhardt has ripped his way to second here, and he's coming.
Well, a first-time winner possibly, but probably the worst thing you could imagine is having the number 3 car in your rearview mirror as you enter the last 4 laps.
It's surprising Ward struggled on that restart. It's just not as good on the short run as the long run. Jerry's car is just so fast. Look at that again. Every time Jerry took the lead, it was a big lead. If he stayed with Hendrick, or if he had somebody else keep an eye on him, like he could have kept doing that. This was exhilarating. I mean, holy hell. He's just not catching him. He's not catching him now.
And the interval is 1.06 seconds.
That time, Jerry Nadu ran over 187 miles per hour with 2 fresh tires.
Jerry Nadu's best.
You're a cat. Go, cat, go. You got him.
Best Atlanta finish in 5 races, 20th last November.
20th. Never finished better than 20th in Atlanta, and here he is, dominating.
He definitely is, man. Nadu pulling away. Here's a battle for third between Jeff Gordon and Ward Burton.
Oh, my goodness.
Just glancing up at the scoreboard, Jeff Burton has not been able. He's passed 1 car, Benny, but he needs to pass 1 more.
Too exciting. I was sitting on the edge of his bed in the hotel room, just like, yeah, man, go, man, go. Bring it home, baby. No way in heck's he going to win the last race on ESPN, the last race with his Michael Hogan paid scheme.
1 more lap to go in the 2000 NASCAR Winston Cup season. The interval is 1.2 seconds.
Gained 2/10 on that lap. Flying. Gone.
Back it down and coast through this corner.
Back in March of '81, Dale Waltrip took the checkered flag to win the very first race that we televised on ESPN. And in November of 2000, Jerry Nadu wins the final race on ESPN.
Oh. So good. So good.
It is his first Winston Cup win in his 103rd race, the 4th first-time winner of 2000, and the 14th different winner this year. Tying a mark set in 1991. Congratulations to the Hendrick team and Jerry Nadu. The last time that we had a first-time winner at Atlanta was Jim Hurtubise in the spring of 1966. There's the champion, Bobby Labonte, but the winner here this afternoon, Jerry Nadu.
Yeah! Let's go!
ESPN's live coverage of the Napa 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway being brought to you by Team Monte Carlo. The cars more
Good day.
champions depend on.
Good day.
Chevy will be there.
Okay, it's got about 5 minutes left. Right on.
The first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. And by Conseco.
Turn it down.
Jerry Nadu still hasn't found victory lane.
He might be stuck now. He's got enough help there, though. I think we can get him back to the victory lane.
Those guys are so happy they can't stand themselves. All right, guys, push him out of there. But meanwhile, Bobby Labonte, our champion in 2000.
Here are the unofficial results. Earnhardt finishes second in the race and in the championship. Ward Burton finishes in third position. There's 16.
Yeah, MH2, I think it must have been one of Michael Holligan's companies, because he was, again, home development guy, kind of like Bob Vila type, had his own show back then. MH2 must have had like some series of brands or something. I know he shopped a lot of brands around like Maytag and stuff to sponsor teams. You'll actually see a lot of those on his car here in the last race that he sponsored him.
Have live coverage of the NASCAR Winston Cup banquet from the World
They got the top 20 in
Astoria,
points.
in which the top 10
that
finishers
one.
make the
Beating
stage
Elliott by 13
and hit
points.
all that money. Now to Jerry Punch.
This
There
will
you
be
go.
a celebration
There's the hat.
to remember 30-year-old Jerry Nadeau, his 103rd career start. He becomes
Yes!
the fourth first-time winner in the year 2000. And take a listen.
Oh, Red Letter Day. Such a good day.
Jerry, congratulations. Here is John Hendrick.
There's John Hendrick. Okay, yeah.
John Hendrick comes in to give him a big congratulations. Win number one of hopefully many to come.
I can't believe it.
Tony Furr, the crew chief, coming up to give him a big hug. Who got at him all day, Jerry?
I hate it. My mom and dad aren't here. My wife, Jada. I'm excited. These guys are the best in the world. I tell you, I got to thank Michael Holligan for being on board all year long. We had a tough year, but what a way to end the season. The car was flawless. The guys did an awesome job on pit road. I got to thank Hendrick Motorsports, all the guys at the engine shop. Honey, I'll be home soon.
You know, you showed your strength all day. It's okay to show your emotions. I mean, this is win number one. Jerry, outstanding effort. The last few laps, you saw Bobby Labonte coming, Earnhardt, others coming. Did you think, you said, man, am I going to have my hands full here these last 4 or 5?
I didn't know what was going to happen there. I couldn't believe that the 22 car was in front of us the whole time, and you know, I thought we had a pretty healthy lead before that, and then all of a sudden he was ahead of me by the end of the race, and so we put on 2 tires, same that they did, but the car was just awesome. I mean, we were catching him every lap, and I'm just so excited. These guys are the best. I want to say hello to my mom and dad, my sister down in Florida, and my wife, Jada. I'm just so excited.
Jerry, in 1981, on our first ESPN telecast, we saw a young up-and-coming driver named Darrell Waltrip win. And on our last telecast today, we see another up-and-coming young driver, Jerry Nadeau, win. We wish you the best of luck. Go win some championships and win some more racing.
I really thank you. I know you can't fill Darrell Waltrip's shoes, but it's good to win this race, especially the last race he's been in. Thank you.
Jerry Nadeau in victory lane for the very first time in his career, but it will not be the last. An emotional victory for Team Hendrick and the MichaelHolligan.com Chevrolet.
Yeah, shouldn't have been the last, but there you go. Most people don't even get that one.
Is, of course,
That's
the
amazing.
champion for the 2000 season. The stage has been assembled here at the start-finish line, and Bobby Labonte is about to receive the congratulations of everyone for that feat. But here's what it's like to win your first Winston Cup race and what you do when you finally take that checkered flag.
We've seen a lot of the donut-type situations with the various drivers, and he must have practiced that. He knew how to do it.
He knew exactly how to do it. You know, this is the last time I worked with Bob Jenkins, in the next little while. But Bob, the last 12 years has been an absolute privilege and a pleasure, and I love you, man.
Thank you, you too, Big Pete.
Sure have it's been a joy over the years. This will be my last time to work with any of you, because this is my last Winston Cup broadcast. It's been a great ride. Thanks.
We have extensive coverage coming up on RPM tonight, of course, and don't forget the special presentation, Darrell Waltrip, a champion salute. That can be seen at 9:30 Eastern Time on Sunday here on ESPN2. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful run here for the past 20 years on ESPN doing NASCAR Winston Cup racing. Certainly our congratulations go to everyone who has contributed to what we have done, and especially to Jerry Nadeau, who had an outstanding race here today, and to Bobby Labonte, who is the champion for 2000. Throughout life, we as individuals and professionals invest countless time, money, and effort in search of all the elusive elements that can bring our health and happiness to the next level. But every once in a while, magic happens. That special combination that just cannot be explained, it just happens. On a Sunday afternoon at Rockingham in 1981, the magic began. We now arrive at a moment that every member of this team had wished would never come for over a year. The time we knew that we all must go our separate ways and then hopefully, just for a while, our NASCAR Winston Cup coverage. As the senior member of the team, I've accepted the responsibility of saying farewell. And believe me, it is not easy. Benny, Ned, Jerry, John, Bill, Mike Wells, our director, and Neil Goldberg, our producer, and a lot of other behind-the-scenes people, and I, have become like family over the years. And although I and several other members of this team will continue to be seen on ESPN, our time together as a team is over. We thank everyone at NASCAR and the various tracks we've visited, but most importantly, we thank you, our fans, who have contributed so much to our coverage down through the years. It was for you that we've done this since 1981. Without you, there would have been no magic. And so it is to you that we dedicate these next few moments. We hope you take pride, as we will, in what we've accomplished on those more than 200 Sunday afternoons.
Wow, yeah. Few have ever said it better. There's a montage after that. It gets played to Groovin' on a Sunday afternoon. They probably took it out for copyright reasons there, but the full clip of that is available on YouTube. I believe I posted it, and a number of other people have posted it too. But yeah, that was again, very melancholy race. In the way that it concluded. Not again, you look at it in hindsight, and of course that turned out to be the only win of Jerry's career. But so many drivers just never even get that one shot. Talking about J.D. McDuffie and so many other drivers through the years. But yeah, a bit sad too with, the last ESPN broadcast. But again, we talked so much about Ken Squire and, before, and really there's a whole group of broadcasters, him included, of course, that just elevated the material. And that last bit there by Bob Jenkins there really shows his own, contribution there to that at the same time. I'd love to do some more races like this, especially talking with other ESPN broadcasts, because they're in that gap between 1981 and 2000. There are just tremendous moments. In fact, there's a great documentary that was put up about a couple weeks after this race concluded that sums up all these great moments from ESPN's career there. So yeah, again, just a huge moment in there, and a race with tons of emotions in it. I mean, again, it's maybe not the race that gets circled as often as you talk about the 92 Atlanta finale and the championship showdown there, or, races of that nature. But the 2000 race had very much, that many different storylines going on, and a really competitive race too. That wasn't, decided until the final caution, the final pit stop, and the final stretch run to the finish there, with Jerry Nadeau winning in his 103rd start. So just a huge moment there in that. And I remember it very fondly at a, kind of a crazy time in everything too, but remember it fondly, and it's exciting to see that again there for sure. So I definitely wanted to make sure to share that with you guys too. I hope you guys have enjoyed it for sure. Jerry, if you're watching, I hope you enjoyed that too, because I know that never gets old to me. I'll tell you what. So that last sprint there is always really exciting there. But that's why we watch. Yeah, that's why we watch. You want to see our drivers do well, and you got drivers that are always really close to winning, and then just that little extra, just whatever that may be. If it's just one caution away, one pit stop away, could spell the difference. And this one turned out to be very dramatic. As Jerry mentioned, his family wasn't there for that because it was a rain-delayed race, similar to Steve Park at Rockingham in 2001, and what turned out to be his last Cup win. Very much similar emotions there too. But again, to be able to pull off that victory was certainly a tremendous moment there as well. So with that, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that special watch along there of the 2000 Napa 500. Big thanks to NASCAR Classics and all they do to preserve this history. I mean, tremendous video quality. I haven't seen it that clear, since watching it initially there, to the point you can see the, even the small decals on the cars and everything, which is really cool. And yes, this leads into, the storylines of 500 Days and the videos on my channel here as well. So if you're interested in more of those stories, that's where you can certainly find that too. So that will do it for the stream tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. If you're interested in more content, my website, again, lastcar.info. the Twitter feed at Last Car on Brock, the Patreon feed, patreon.com/lastcaronbrock, as well as my book Cope that just came out on November 14th, available on Amazon in print and ebook, soon to be there in audiobook. Our next show, we'll do another one of these here, if not next week, pretty soon after here. We'll pull up another classic race and tune in here, probably be on the weekends, the way these are going so far. But stay tuned to my Twitter feed there, and I'll have updates on that very soon. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Definitely enjoyed that myself, and hope you did as well. And I'll see you all next time.